Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan, Chris,
and Lee.
Chris, you're back.
I am.
You've been somewhere.
I went to Jersey.
And how was it?
It was good. I tried to find Nigel Mansell. Did I find him?
Find out later.
Is it later yet?
It is later.
And did you find him?
No. Although I'm much more positive than you'd think I might be, coming back from a place where I didn't find the person. I didn't go there just to find him. I was there for a wedding, but yeah, the basically the wheels are in motion, and it's not over yet. People close to him know that we're after him.
That
basically
might not help us.
It will help.
The
us.
police have been informed and will be.
Is he a special constable there as well?
I don't think so. I think he's retired policeman now.
Ah, right.
I'm starting to think, for instance, it's not an accident I've never met Jensen Button.
Well, there you go. Sanctions are in place.
Yeah. And I think this tag on my ankle's something to do with it.
Yeah, and he gets a beep on his phone every time you get within 3 miles. Oh, crap. I best start running a triathlon.
So aside from not meeting Nigel Mansell, how was his museum?
Very, very good, actually. It's quite a quite interesting place to go if you ever find yourself in Jersey, not New Jersey, the island.
Old Jersey.
Yeah, Old Jersey, the island.
Jersey
The original.
Jersey 1.0.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great to go and see it. It's,
Before they patched it into New York.
But it takes you. The actual audio tour is done by Nigel himself, and takes you around all the.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Rather than standing behind you.
No, if he'd done that, I would have asked him some questions. But he takes you through some of the trophies that he's won. He's got just a few mementos here and there, race suits, helmets, and of course a few of the cars that he drove during his time in racing as well. I did take quite a lot of photos, but I didn't want to really spoil the surprise of whether or not I found Nigel Mansell. The answer is I didn't, so that's spoiled. But yeah, he's.
You tried.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I spoke to the museum, and they're not always always sure where he's going to be. They're not privy to his movements for security reasons, sort of thing.
Let's be fair. If you were the kind of man that goes to your own museum every day, you're probably a twat.
I know. Well, yeah. There is that. But there are people who've been, I did read some TripAdvisor reviews, and he does pop in every now and again.
Mm-hmm. I know he's doing a big meet and greet there sometime in September because he's been pushing that on Twitter.
Yeah, I think it's September 16th, which I think is a Friday. So if you're free and
it's
you got enough,
Friday of Singapore weekend, I think. No, it's Saturday of Singapore weekend.
Is it Saturday Singapore weekend?
So we now can reveal exclusively that Nigel Mansell will not be the driver steward at the Singapore Grand Prix.
But if he is, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
How he's managed to do that.
It's not fake news. It's just unimportant news.
Yeah. But as I said,
I know he's into magic these days, so he could be in two places at once. He could like walk into a magic broom cupboard in one place and come out.
Get it?
Yeah,
we get it.
I never realised as well that Nigel Mansell was being a singularly a champion in Formula One
and IndyCar,
and won an IndyCar as well. Yeah, he is actually a double World Golf champion. Won the Senior World Golf Championship 2 years in a row, which is
pretty impressive.
He's an incredibly competitive man. But yeah. Really go and check out his museum. It's a fantastic place. So I'll put all the photos up, or at least I'll send them through to Paul, who can put them up on the Facebook group.
It'll be on the Facebook page. I'll put them on the website.
Yeah,
it'd be a great thing for you if you live close to it. We all have those days where we wake up and just feel a bit sad.
Go make yourself feel better.
Go make yourself feel better. So, especially if it was like a Saturday afternoon, you knew there was going to be like a tour around your museum, and you could just walk in and be lauded for an hour.
Yeah, just feel better about yourself. Yeah. I'm guessing we don't have very many listeners in Jersey. If they do, they're quite shy because nobody got in touch.
No.
Well, nobody got in touch to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a listener in Jersey. I'd quite like to go for a drink with you or whatever." No. Or maybe they are, but they're too young to go to a pub.
Well, to be fair, we cast a wide net.
We do.
But it is a small show.
Correct.
I was very profound for you.
I thought so.
Are you done for this week now?
Yeah, man,
All right.
got a migraine now.
Yeah, no, it's kind of disappointing that I'm back here in a weird way. I
Yeah.
feel like I've let the
I
listeners...
know, you can stop. I'm with you.
No, in a weird way, I feel like I've let the listeners down. I feel like I let you guys down by not
Yeah.
getting the interview.
Yeah,
But
I didn't want to say it.
it's not complete. It's not a no. It's not completely off the table just yet.
Yeah.
It's still very
Just a
very
big Nigel,
You know what?
Nigel Mansell prick tease, aren't you?
No, it's actually me going to Jersey has actually made it a lot more possible. It just didn't happen whilst I was in Jersey. That's the best way I can say
He
it.
lives there. Of course, going to Jersey made it a lot more possible.
He may not have been on the island at the time. I don't know. So that's that.
In that case, what have we got this week?
Not a lot of news.
Well, there's no news because everywhere's still on shutdown. And
No news is good news.
Hang on, should we call some factories? I know I said I was going to do this. I haven't really prepared anything. But shall I find a number for a factory and call them?
Yes.
If anyone's answering the phone at quarter past 9 on a Monday night, I'd be very surprised even if it was during the season.
Well, I'm going to ask them what you're doing there. Should we
I
call
wouldn't be
Williams?
surprised.
Give Haas a ring. They're American. They might be open.
Oh yeah, good point.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
but their
surprised
factory
if
will
it was
be
Honda.
Their factory will be open for NASCAR stuff, won't it?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
What,
Tell you what, Chris.
Yes.
Put your phone down.
No.
It's causing interference. Put your phone
right,
down.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
We'll do a half-term review instead.
Okie dokie.
Right, Lee, C-. Not offensive. Sorry, the teams.
Nice.
No, actually, let's do a report on each one of us. Chris D was doing well until this week.
Lee, A star, hilarious as usual.
Paul,
Yeah.
O for old. Dan,
C.
attendance could be
Average.
better.
We might as well talk about the teams.
Yeah.
go on then.
Starting at the bottom, just in race review style, Sauber. They have participated in some events in this Formula One season.
Yeah, and they've scored points.
Yeah.
So, would you have said at the beginning of the season, Sauber scoring points at the middle of the season would be a complete disaster? Because I don't think you would.
It's not been a disaster because they have got points.
Given that I would say 2017 Sauber is a much worse shape than 2016 Sauber.
Yeah.
And we were pissing all over them when they were around.
And 2016 Sauber took to Brazil to get points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're not doing too bad.
Isn't it nice that we're back in the Formula One days where all the teams are scoring points?
Yes.
Yes, that is nice. I mean, we've said it so many times in the
Fuck
past.
you, Manor.
Well,
yeah,
they scored
They scored
a point last year.
Yeah.
They scored 2 points in 2 years in the
They
sixth
would have
they were in
finished. They
existence.
would have finished 10th if Sauber hadn't scored points.
But then that's like saying that would have been a goal if the goalkeeper hadn't saved
Yeah. If you want to have that conversation with Fernando Alonso.
it. Yeah. I would have been a 5-time world champion if it wasn't for Sebastian Vettel.
Do you think it's that role with Fernando Alonso? Even if
I
someone,
think it used to be.
no, but someone agrees with him. Yeah, you know what, Fernando, you've got a point. No, I haven't. That was the problem.
Anybody got any problem with Russians? I have. I was stuck behind one for 2 hours on a Sunday night in the middle of a desert.
A Cold War. I'm fucking raging.
So we're talking about Sauber,
Sorry.
and somehow it's got round to McLaren.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it will do. No,
A star.
I think I'm right in saying that all of Sauber's points have come from Pascal Wehrlein.
Yes.
Shenanigans.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the Sauber's points have come from their driver.
Yeah, shenanigans in Azerbaijan.
Ericsson should have got a point, shouldn't he?
In Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
But there was a rapidly approaching Stoffel.
Yeah, they'd swap places to see if Verline could overtake
Yeah.
whoever
Somebody
came
else
in
was in
ninth,
front. Yeah.
and
He
he
couldn't.
couldn't, and they were supposed to swap back.
But by the time it got to the end of the last lap, Stoffel was too close and could have taken points off both the Saubers.
Yeah, so in theory, I reckon we can say Ericsson scored 1 point.
Theoretically, yes. But theoretically, Fernando Alonso is a 5-time world champion.
And how many races did Rubens Barrichello actually win?
Exactly. But I mean, beginning of the season, pre-season testing, the Sauber was one of the first cars to break cover. We said, "Oh, that's an interesting looking Sauber, blue and gold. It's 25 years. Got no money, have we?" And
The lack of sponsors on the car showed that.
yeah,
Like
and then
we
all
said,
the other
it might as
cars.
well have had your name here written on it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then all the other cars broke cover.
Somebody
with,
did that Photoshop job and it did have our name on it.
Then somebody, all the other teams broke cover with a lot more aggressive aerodynamic sort of looking cars. Basically, all the packages were a lot tighter and a lot. I want to say slopier than the Saubers. But Sauber were quite convinced that their aerodynamic package was going to be enough that they used the last year's Ferrari engine would be fine to see them through. And we laughed at them and said they're not going to score points this year. They've got 5 points. So in that respect, not really a disaster so far for Sauber. Although with all developments coming for the second half, it's going to be quite difficult. I think Sauber have done better than we thought they would.
Definitely, but they've locked into those points, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
There aren't any races where you can say, "Wow, the Saubers were doing really well there."
I feel like their competition isn't necessarily on track. It's just keeping cars on track at the minute.
I mean, we actually thought at the start of the season we would see a few races where both Saubers had DNSs against the name.
Yeah.
For just not being fast enough.
Yeah. We did wonder that with the last year's engine shenanigans, but
So it's proved that, they might have been able to do something with the aero. We'll just have to see where they go next year when they've got a current engine, and that'll show us what they've got in their factory.
Do you think they can score points at any of the races towards the end of the season?
no, I don't think they could. Have they actually scored any points this year without stuff happening?
Score points in...
With the on pace.
No, not really. Azerbaijan, they weren't far off, but we had so many stoppages and
Yeah,
cars
so
dropping out.
they
and-
can score points through the rest
A
of the
wet
season.
Belgium and a wet Brazil, they might be up there.
They're going to be so far down the grade.
A
down
wet
the grid,
Singapore probably is
Yeah,
their
wet
best,
Singapore.
is their best option. But we've never had a wet Singapore.
I'm going to say
race.
it's never happened yet.
We still don't know if you can race at a wet Singapore.
No, that's a good point.
I think wet Belgium is probably the best chance because it's a long circuit, so any safety car is going to help them a whole lot.
Yeah, but they've got they're so low on grunt compared to some of the other cars with 2017 engines that even if they can look into the pit stops and it lands them first, like in the chain, and everyone else is behind the safety car, they're still just going to get fucking minced, aren't they, until they're 15th and 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason Belgium will help them is the same reason that Azerbaijan did, with it being a really long lap. So they're not going to be lapped twice as easily as they will be at, say,
I
Monza.
see what you mean. Yeah.
So a safety car is going to benefit them that way.
Yeah,
They could be on the same lap as the leaders, and if cars are dropping out above them, then there's the possibility.
And then
there.
Ruth Buscombe strategises them into the points.
Possibly.
She's their best hope.
Yeah. And I can't remember the other race where Pascal Vellon, I think he scored, I think he was 8th place or something like that, 8th or 7th, somewhere else in the season.
I'm sure Ruth Buscombe's very good at her job, but I do think somehow that if she was as good as we're making her out to be, she'd be in a different fucking team.
Well, Ferrari keep learning her out, don't they? She went to Haas, and she was sort of responsible for Haas scoring
did Ferrari
points early
actually
on.
loan her out, or has she just moved teams?
I think she's moved teams. She
When
went.
she moved teams, I thought she was still owned by Ferrari and just went to Ferrari-based teams.
No, I think that's just coincidence.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. It was Spain where Verline got the other.
Was it
Got the
7th?
point.
Was it? He finished 8th.
Yeah, he's had an 8th and a 10th. And Marcus Ericsson has started some races.
Yes, and as
But
Dan
he's
said,
finished some.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Dan said
he should have
theoret-
got that 10th in Baku. So
Yeah,
it's-
10th is theoretically a point, but
Yeah.
the statistics show that it's much like Barrichello's win. Schumacher's win in Austria. I meant they got it right the first time, didn't I?
It should have been Barrichello's win in Austria.
Yeah, much in the same respect as that. The records show something different to what actually should have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got an uphill battle though, haven't they? I mean, even when you take out the car, you've still got the driver.
Well, yeah, I mean, going from Eau Rouge to the end of the Kemmel Straight, that's a real uphill battle for a Sauber.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Fred Vasseur's now in charge of the team. He did a great job when he was at Lotus. who are now Renault under the leadership of Cyril Abiteboul. But when Fred was at Lotus, that was when they were when Kimi was quite close to winning a championship at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was winning races in Lotuses.
Well, there you go. So I mean, Fred Vasseur knows what's needed to make a team successful. So hopefully he can convince the financial backers of Sauber to perhaps abandon their plan of only favouring one driver. And
favouring Marcus Ericsson over a driver.
Yes, and just seeing exactly where Sauber can go. But the rest of this season is going to be difficult. 2018, let's hope they're still around and maybe a bit more competitive. But points better than we expected.
All right, pull up a chair, put your feet up for half an hour. Guess what? Go on, Lee.
It's McLaren time.
It is. It's always McLaren time.
It's McLaren time all the time.
At one point they had no points, and it was looking pretty desperate for them.
At one point, everyone had no points.
Yeah,
that was Australia.
Yeah, for quite a long time though this season, McLaren had no points, and now McLaren have 11 points they've got now.
Yep, they currently have a grand total of 11 points.
Yeah, most of which were scored by Fernando Alonso, of course.
All. Oh no!
Sorry,
Stoffel
they had a double points
sorry.
finish at Hungary.
Sorry, Stoffel has got a point.
Yeah, Stoffel's got 1 point and Fernando's got 10. So
Still not amazing.
No. Stoffel's first full season in F1, he's not adapted to having a poor car as quickly as I thought he might.
I see. I'm not down with this poor car thing because so far we think it's a poor engine. The car looks to be pretty good. So realistically, if it's the engine that's down on power and the car's pretty good, he should be closer to Alonso. But he has been closer in the last couple of races.
Yeah, it's taken him this long to sort of...
There's things that we don't know about the engine. We know it's down on power, but some engines are more drivable than others, aren't they? The way they deliver that power can fuck some drivers up completely.
Yeah, I just feel that if we had 2008 or 2007 again, and it was everything was the same as it is now, but the drivers were 2007 drivers, I feel Hamilton would have been closer to Alonso than what Van Dorn is in his first year.
That's not really a huge condemnation of Stoffel, though, is it?
But
possibly one of the best drivers in the world would have been closer to.
No, but the way
McLaren
was looking at Stoffel as being the next big hope for McLaren and a future world champion, I feel that whenever somebody comes in like a Seb or a Lewis or a Fernando, they fucking break in. And you instantly notice.
Even Verstappen.
Yeah, even a Mark Webber or a Jenson Button. Like these guys, when they didn't have cars to do it, made people notice them. I don't think Stoffel's done it.
Webber got the Minardi up to 5th in Australia, didn't he? Button, I don't remember him standing out that much in his first year.
In his first race.
He got a DNF in his first race.
Was it second race?
He was in the points in his first race, and then the engine let go.
Yeah, but no, he was up there, like scoring points.
Okay, well here's an interesting one. Stoffel has had less retirements than Alonso. Stoffel has actually finished more races. Fernando has had 6 retirements and a DNS out of the 10 races that he's done.
Good Lord.
Stoffel has had 3 retirements and a DNS.
So basically, when Alonso's finished, he's finished in the points. Almost. Do you know what I mean?
He's finished 4 races. He's had 2 in the points.
No, he's finished. He's actually finished 3 races because Bahrain and Canada, he pulled out before the end, but was still classified.
Right, yeah, but it doesn't count in realsies, does it? If we're being honest, the car retired.
Yeah, when Fernando has actually done the full race distance, he's got a 12th, a 9th, and a 6th.
Yeah,
we don't know whether it's the car retired or Alonso pushed the car past breaking point.
This is true.
So it could be that those points that he's got because the team have said, okay, Alonso, slow it down a bit. you've got a 10th here, take it easy. And he's
Fuck
gone,
you.
fuck that, I'm going for 8th.
Yeah. Well, yeah, which is what racing drivers should be doing or should be allowed to do.
If you don't go,
Should they?
if you're a driver and you don't go for the gap, you're not a racing driver.
Oh, well,
But when you know the car might blow up, maybe he's got the confidence to do that because he can say to the team, yeah, I was trying to get the points. Whereas Van Dorn says, you've told me to bring it home in 11th, I'm bringing it home.
Maybe.
So I'm not as down on Van Dorn at the moment as maybe the results would make it look like
of course,
they should
no,
be.
I don't think he's down, but I don't think he's what. At the moment, I look at him the same as Bottas. Or the same as the way I looked at Bottas maybe last year.
Yeah,
I should
and I
say.
think that's fair.
Yeah.
There could be potential there, but
we won't know
Yeah.
until I mean they've signed him up for 2018 anyway. They say we owe it to him to give him another shot because this isn't a fair. We're not giving him a fair crack of the whip this time round. So we know for definite that Stoffel's in the car for 2018.
Now, who's going to be in the other car is
anyone's guess.
Anyone's guess at the minute. It's open to conjecture, and I'm sure we will conject about it until the cows come home.
I'm pretty sure.
So McLaren do have 11 points. This Spec 3 engine that was brought by Honda into, was it Britain they had the first race with it, or Hungary?
It was
I think
Britain, and they tried it in Australia.
I thought they'd used it at Britain, but not in the race, and then they raced it at Hungary.
Yeah, this Spec 3 engine appears to be all right. Okay.
But the Spec 4 engine
is on its way.
And apparently that's giving... early data says that's going to give them the pace that they should have had in pre-season testing.
Only 8 months late.
Yeah.
As long as it's got the reliability as well.
That's the issue, but the Spec 4 doesn't seem to have the same vibration problems, which is what's caused the first 3 versions of the engine not to work properly.
Well,
So-
yeah, Spec 3 is it's got the power, but if it's got the power, I mean, Alonso said that car is the fastest through the corners. Kind of proven a little bit in Hungary, really, because that's just a continuation of corners.
And the fastest lap he got was...
And he got the fastest lap as well at the end of the race. Looking all right, okay, for McLaren at the moment, but wasn't earlier on in the season.
They've had one good race, and that looks a lot better than the whole
At
rest
the right
of the season.
time, though, yeah.
At the right time.
Well, what I found interesting was, given the fact where we're going next, with it being Spa, and then is it Monza straight after Spa?
Yeah.
Stoffel said in the interview that he doesn't see any reason why McLaren can't aim to be the 4th best team at every race now till the end of the season. So
Which they were in Hungary.
Yeah. It's a question of where are they going to take the hit on the penalties to get the Spec 4 engine in, because
Stoffel's home race next. They wouldn't want to do it there.
Yeah, I think it'll be Monza, where they will just take an absolute raft of penalties and get a new engine apiece.
Is it Singapore after Monza?
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends It depends. I think you might see, regardless of it being Stoffel's home Grand Prix or not, because they're not gonna. It's going to be one of the harder races for them. I think you might see them taking the penalties in Spa anyway. Sorry.
Again, they've got the possible same benefit as Sauber with it being a long circuit.
Yeah.
Monza, I think, would be a good one for them to take the penalties.
I think it's more likely they'll take penalties in Belgium if the weather forecast looks dodgy for the Sunday, because then there's guaranteed to be a safety car if it throws it down.
Yeah.
That's going to be the great leveller. Sod it, we'll stick 2 new engines in, we'll take the grid penalties, and then we'll let the safety car do the work for us.
Do we know that the Spec 4 is going to be ready for then?
Honda are making noises that it's going to be ready at the end of the summer break.
Which means it should be in before Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because the way I'm looking at it is if they can get if the new engine's going to actually give them like a proper like boost you can see, get it in the car in Belgium, because then you can use it in Monza as well. Because if they don't do that, then they're going to take it at Monza, and they're going to have a bad Spa anyway. This way, they just have a bad Spa. They might have a better Monza with the new engine.
That makes sense.
Don't look for them at the start of the season.
Fuck.
Right, shall we move on from McLaren?
Yeah, we'll go to a team in real turmoil next. Renault.
Well,
50% turmoil.
Well, I don't even know that they're in that much turmoil, to be honest with you. They got more than double the points that McLaren have got. So for McLaren to go anywhere other than above Renault would be difficult. You've got Renault and Haas and Toro Rosso in the next 3 teams, all within like 13 points of each other.
Yes, Nico Hülkenberg has got double the points that McLaren have got.
Well, yeah, all right, okay. Nico Hülkenberg's got double the points. Yeah, you make it with that. You make a point, but I don't know that they're in that much turmoil. It's how do I put it?
When the team principal has to keep coming out publicly reassuring the obvious number 2 driver that his seat is safe and he is not going to be replaced on a race-by-race basis, that to me says complete turmoil.
How's it turmoil?
That's more a reaction to the media, surely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be... It's not going to be the most pleasant situation where you've got one driver getting on with it and doing his job, the other guy, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired.
He's not doing that. You're doing that, he's not. The media's doing that.
It was reported that Palmer was off, reported by the BBC no less, that Palmer was offered a payoff around the British Grand Prix, which is why there were rumours that that was it. He wouldn't be in the car for the rest of the season after that. He didn't accept it. So, Renault have got where exactly to go from that? Pretty much nowhere, to be quite honest with you. They've got to stick with Palmer now, as far as I can see, for the rest of the season. If they were going to replace him, I said when Robert Kubica did his day test after the Hungarian Grand Prix, I thought, I'm convinced he'll be in the car for Spa. But they're not gonna. If they were gonna put Robert Kubica in the car, they needed to announce it before now. They can't wait until like a couple of days before Spa to just say, well, we've decided that Jolyon Palmer's not going to race for us for the rest of the season.
I think they can do that when they want, and if they're negotiating with Palmer to get him out of the team in a nice, clean way, maybe make him reserve driver and put Kubica in or someone else, then those negotiations might take all of the summer.
It's also very possible, of course, they might say, well, we're going to put Robert in for one race, but we want to hang on to you because, let's be honest, Robert's probably not fit enough to do a full season. He probably is. But they're going to want to say that to Jolyon Palmer, that
back-to-back Spa in Italy.
I don't think they could lie to him like that because he's close enough to it all to know the score.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, Cyril Abiteboul is quoted by ESPN as saying that they're actually open to the idea of keeping Palmer on for next year and his future's in his hands.
I can't hear that guy's name without wishing he was like a 6'6" jacked black guy.
Cyril Abiteboul.
We could call him Cyril Abiteboul.
Oh dear.
But
now who's coming out with the terrible jokes?
No,
come on, Lee.
That's not a joke. That's actually what I want to happen.
Can we all live in Lee's world?
Oh yeah, it's lovely in here. Apart from when the dark things come out.
The Dementors?
Yeah. They dement the Dementors. Let's face it though, like Palmer's been the most unlucky Formula One driver I can remember since I've been watching Formula One this year. There's been nobody has had as much bad luck as he's had.
He's had bad luck, but sometimes he lets it get to him too much. And
how can you not when you're not getting any time in the car?
I know, yeah. He's had he's had Webber's luck in that team, hasn't he? All the breakdowns.
Worse than Webber's luck. Yeah,
all the breakdowns. But I mean, he's also put himself in some positions where you probably, other drivers maybe wouldn't have put themselves.
Yeah, no, it's pressure mounts up on people, isn't it? That's the thing.
Well, this time last year, Jolyon Palmer wasn't doing so great, and then the second half of the season, he was actually very, very good.
Yeah, he smashed K-Mag around in the second half of the season last year, so it's by no means over for him. If he's got like a cast iron contract, and they don't, because realistically, he's obviously got something in place. If the rumours are true that they wanted to buy him out of his contract, that says to me that he's going nowhere unless he decides, right, whatever.
My gut feel would be that there's going to be performance clauses in the contract, but I suspect Renault might have breached them rather than him breaching them. Yeah. The number of times the cars had to be retired.
You can't sack somebody for not doing their job when your car keeps breaking.
Look at the British Grand Prix. Palmer was up for that. Yeah. Really up for that. Here we go. Let's go, boys. On the outlap.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a problem. what's going on here? Straight away, the team was just like, yep, stick it in neutral and coast. We're going to have to retire the car.
Yeah.
What? Oh, right, great. My home Grand Prix, I'm not even going to start it.
Yeah.
What, that's... It's not good enough, but...
I think
at the same
Australia
time,
is the worst one, because your first race out, and the car's turning off in the middle of the lap and turning on again.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
How can you have confidence in a car that does that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Azerbaijan FP3 burst into flames for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not... I'm still convinced the first crash he had in the last race as well was... like he went
in Hungary and during the practice.
Yeah, but he went over one of the bumps, but the car broke. The car shouldn't break like that, by
he hit the curb, and then when he landed, there was that much of a gap between the edge of the curb and the start of the grass.
Yeah.
He was going a little bit too quick for the corner, which is why he ran as wide as he did, but... the FIA were very, very quick to level out that section of curb and grass afterwards.
I mean, the thing is, he went wide. How many times do we see Sebastian Vettel going wide in practice? It's
how you find the limits.
Yeah.
By pushing them in practice.
Yeah. So I'd actually chalk that down as more fucking Palmer luck that he happened to go off on the curb. That was basically a cliff.
And then FP2, same corner, car died.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's not fair. I hope he gets some good luck. It's having the summer break, going back in. I'm sure with Renault being a works team, there'll be a load of upgrades going to Belgium when they get going again.
Well, there's not going to be a great deal on the engine. It's all going to be on the chassis because Renault said there is no sort of magic bullet upgrade for the engine.
Yeah. But keep in mind, we could all be completely wrong here. And as I just said, within 2 days of Spa, the day before first practice, Robert Kubica is in the car for Spa.
Or could happen.
Or Nicholas Latifi is.
Or shortly before we put this podcast out.
It will be it will be a week tomorrow. Because we will do the Belgian preview a week tonight.
Yeah.
See,
and then Tuesday morning, Kubica to drive.
See, I can't help feel
Renault to run 2-seater.
I can't help but feel that the Kubica dream might be over for some reason.
Yeah, well, that was to assess his drive in Hungary was to assess whether or not he could come back and compete at top level.
Yeah.
And
I don't think the dream's over at all, but
he can come back and compete at top levels. Yeah. Whether he will come back,
I think there's a good chance he will be in that Renault next year. I think that if he was going to be in it at Spa, they would have put him out in a setup that could mean he blasted away everyone's time.
Yeah.
For a test lap around Hungary.
Maybe they tried.
Possibly.
That's the thing. We don't know what the teams are doing.
I'm suspicious in the considering that when it happened, like Renault were fucking #Kubica day, all that sort of stuff. I'm suspicious by how it seemed to go well, and then it seemed to go very quiet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I wonder whether they gave him a car. Sorry to put in again, but I wonder whether they gave him a car
that should have blown it all the way.
That was going to go quicker than Palmer and Hülkenberg, for instance. But so it's just default. You will be faster, so you won't look bad. But he should have been much further down the road from where he was. Maybe
it's possible. But they did run the qualifying simulations at the end of the day. You would have thought if they wanted to do that, they would have done that earlier. After he'd done 120 laps, they then sent him out on quali sims.
I don't know, because you want...
You don't want to risk being in the car right at the start of the day if there's a testing program.
Yeah, I suppose
and can you really do an accurate quali sim if he hasn't had time in the car to know how it works and how it handles and stuff?
Yeah, I guess so.
So I think the quali sims at the end were right, but... Who knows?
We'll see.
It just seems quiet. That's all. It seems very quiet, and
but all the teams are quiet.
Whoever's in the car, I think, will both Renaults should be scoring points.
In Belgium,
not necessarily
at some races during the rest of the season. We've still got another 9 races to go. Renault need the double points finishes because they are right behind a team that if the planets are aligned properly, are capable of getting double points finishes. It's just that, again, it's a 50-50 team, but unlike Renault, you don't know which driver is in the good half of the garage and which is in the bad half. Haas.
Yeah.
Haas F1.
Haas F1.
Haas Automation.
Automation F1.
Haas Animation.
Not automotive.
Not automotive or cartoon motive.
Right.
Yeah, they have had a seesaw season, you could say.
We've had, what is it, 1 double points finish
Yeah.
or 2 double points finishes?
When one driver is having a good weekend, the other's having a mare.
Yeah.
They're having a much better season than last year, aren't they?
They have already outscored last year's points total. We're only we're just over halfway through.
Which is, again, at the beginning of the season, we'd have gone, oh, that's a great...
They're winning my award for most improved team.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they said at the beginning of the season, by mid-season you'll have more points than you had last year, we would all have been like, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, well done, Haas. That sounds like a really good improvement. It doesn't feel like they've made a step forward.
It doesn't, but I think that's the driver's fault.
Yeah, but they've now got 2 drivers capable of scoring points, and both drivers are getting the car in the points because...
Yeah, but not at the same time. They've got both drivers capable of scoring, of getting double points finishes, but they don't appear to be consistent enough to do it.
So what that means is they've got drivers that complement each other. Rather than having 2 drivers that are weak at the same circuits.
I'm not sure. I know what you mean, and I'm finding it very hard to dispute it.
Complement, not compliment.
For what is effectively the 7th best team on the grid, then surely they'd be finishing in 13th and 14th place. So some weeks someone gets into the top 10, some weeks another one gets into the top 10.
I just think
they're not a guaranteed double points team just purely because of where they are in their evolution.
Right, let's put it this way then.
You're saying that all these drivers should be both in the points.
Yeah.
We've got 6 more teams to come after them, and you'll say all these drivers should be in the points as well. But they can't be, because that's another 12. That's another.
No.
10 points.
I realise that, but the thing is that those cars aren't together. If one was 10th and one was 12th, fine. But the fact that they're never together, that's the problem.
Yeah, but it's never one driver who's always ahead of the other.
No, it's not.
Is that a problem though?
No, I think the problem is consistency. Neither driver is consistent week to week to week. That's a problem.
I don't know. Grosjean had a run: Spain, Monaco, and Canada, 3 consecutive points finishes.
Then what happened after that?
Azerbaijan.
What happened?
Yeah.
So that's consistency. So
he had a blip.
Right. If we were playing Formula 1 top trumps, and we were going through the cards,
consistency would be low.
Yeah, and Sauber had like driver lineup 2 out of a possible 50. Haas would be 5. They've got the 2nd weakest driver lineup on the grid.
That is arguable, although I'm finding it very difficult to argue with you on that at the moment.
Yeah, I think because the drivers have different skills, Mercedes have the same thing. You have a bad Lewis week, but Bottas is up there. You don't have bad Mercedes weeks anymore.
No, but the thing is, like, even if you have a bad... I'll agree with you. Lewis isn't consistent enough. If Lewis was consistent enough, given the car he's got, he'd be winning the championship right now, because that car's better than the Ferrari.
But I don't think you can say Lewis Hamilton is an inconsistent driver. What you've got is the pairing of the driver and the car don't work well at some circuits. And what Haas have got is the pairing of one of their drivers and the car works well at some circuits, and the other driver and the car works well at other circuits.
And
which means that they're always picking up points instead of being 13th and 14th.
I'm not sure about that.
7 out of 11 races, Haas have scored points.
Yeah.
Haas are doing a great job, and they've clearly built a good car.
And they feel like they've got faith in their drivers, because I believe they signed both of them up for 2018.
That's what I understand.
Fewer options than they really want.
Well, Robert Kubica might be available. Or Jolyon Palmer.
Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz.
Carlos Sainz wouldn't go to Haas, that'd be a move backwards.
Carlos Sainz would go to anyone.
I don't think he'd leave Toro Rosso to go
If
there.
Ferrari gave him enough incentives, they've got Santino Ferrucci as their official test driver anyway. Mm-hmm. He'll be old enough next season.
I don't think the Ferrari holdover Haas runs as deep as you think it does.
Well, at the moment, they own Santino Ferrucci and loan him out to Haas.
Yeah.
And
No, but I
Giovinazzi
mean,
as well.
like,
And Giovinazzi.
I don't think it's a. I don't think they're in any position to demand a driver get to drive with them.
I don't think they'll be demanding a driver. It'll be Ferrari saying he's going to drive for us one day.
Yeah.
You have him for.
I think you'll find Haas might. Whatever special help they get off Ferrari, I think you might find that stops next year.
Well, that's the idea, wasn't it? Behind they were allowed 85% of the car and quite a lot of help in their first season.
No, not because of that.
And
because
then
Saab was going to be Alpha probably.
Well, it might well be. Then it drops down to a certain percentage again this year, and then next year it's got to be 100%. Their design with the Ferrari.
Yeah, but I mean, big teams help smaller teams, don't they? That
of course they do. Yeah,
with
all the time.
Relationship, but I think if Ferrari have got designs on turning Sauber into their Toro Rosso, I think that might look quite bleak for Haas.
I know what you mean, but
they've got a history of winning cars in other series.
Who?
Haas.
Yeah. Oh no, there's nothing wrong with what Haas are doing. That's my only problem with them is I think they've got two at very, very, very best underperforming second drivers. They've got a team of meh.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's nothing special about Magnussen.
No.
And Grosjean has always, in my mind, been. He's going to be great. He's got the potential. He's got the potential. When?
Grosjean was fucked after his ban. After his ban for trying to kill.
No, he came back. He was all right after that, but he's not. I
No,
don't know. It's hard to tell.
Since he hasn't been crashy smashy Grosjean, he hasn't been putting like turning up now and again, consistency.
Yeah.
And being really, really fast.
But he's been whingy whiny Grosjean.
He's been whingy whiny Grosjean an awful lot.
Because every 5 laps, brakes.
Well, but that's warranted.
That's not
Them's
his
the
fault.
brakes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to complain if they're not working. Anyway, who's next on the list?
Who is next? We have Toro Rosso.
Now, was only about a 12-point difference between those teams? 13? 10-point difference.
10-point difference. Toro Rosso on 29 points and on 39. Haas on 29.
I think Toro Rosso started out pretty well, and then their drivers got a bit too crashy and were trying to prove themselves.
The teams that team has nosedived a little since the early season because they looked great early season, and then
Double points finish in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they've just sort of disappeared a little bit. They're now getting double no points finishes and. All right, okay, maybe it's not the car, but Sainz getting out-dragged by a McLaren down the straight in Hungary. It's a short straight anyway. But all right, DRS was there, and but
well, if it's not a great chassis, then
that's what I mean.
There'd be less drive coming off the corner.
Yeah.
When the McLaren we bring it back to McLaren again, being the fastest in the corner, you're going to carry that speed into the straight.
Well, I'd say he might have even been a gear up. Around that last corner onto the main straight,
and we've lauded Carlos Sainz. He is very, very much potentially the future star of Formula One, who could win many world championships.
It just depends on what happens with his contract and what the Red Bull organisation are going to do with him. And
apparently
is he going to shut his mouth?
The Kvyat Sainz thing has split the team. There's a little bit sort of disharmony in the actual garage. Now
there was rumours that there was problems with Sainz and Verstappen.
Is Sainz a terrible driver?
Is Sainz the issue? Or is Carlos Sainz purely a Fernando in this? And it happened with the team, but I had nothing to do with it.
Maybe. I think with that hair must come some sort of ego.
Great responsibility.
Yeah.
With great hair comes great responsibility.
So, Look, he doesn't want to be in that team, so surely it's going to affect the team negatively. You know, when one of your drivers is publicly trying to leave the team when he's got a contract.
But as I said last week, no one goes into Toro Rosso wanting to be in Toro Rosso.
No, they joined to go to Red Bull.
Yeah.
And Carlos Sainz has done 3 years now, hasn't he? Well, he will have done 3 years at the end of this year.
Yeah, so it can't be a surprise to the team that the drivers don't want to stay there.
Yeah, and Kvyat is obviously trying to prove that he is an option other than Carlos Sainz for the Red Bull team should they choose, should they need to choose one of those drivers again. It's not really working, is it? They've had 2 comings together. They're coming together in Britain, in Silverstone on lap 1.
They had a very close one in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, and well, Azerbaijan, one teammate ruining another's race. I mean, all right, they didn't come together.
Kvyat screwed up the first corner. Sainz had to take evasive action and spun.
Yeah, but Sainz finished quite high up in the end. But all the shenanigans that went on in that race, had Sainz not spun, trying to avoid his teammate who was coming back onto the circuit, then could Sainz perhaps have been a podium finisher?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anybody could have finished on the podium that day.
If Stroll did.
Yeah.
But I mean, where did Toro Rosso go for the rest of the season? Because I think the main thing that they've got to do is keep both drivers in check.
Try and keep ahead of Renault.
Yeah, just for whatever it takes. If it comes to
take points where they can, I think that's literally the objective of Toro Rosso for the rest of the season, which is sad, given that they looked great early season. We thought they were going to be,
their drivers need to calm down.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Needs to calm down.
Franz Tost has had a go at the pair of them.
French toast.
Then it's escalated to Helmut Marko, telling the pair of them, sort your respective problems out now.
Yeah.
Where do you go after that? It's Dietrich Mateschitz. It's the guy that owns the whole bloody company. He's the only one left. This is thinking back to Abu Dhabi last year when Paddy Lowe came on the radio to Lewis to tell him to speed up. It's like, what the hell next? Is it going to be Lauda, then Toto Wolff, and then whoever's the chairman of the bloody Mercedes group?
Yeah. Dieter Zetscher, isn't
it? And is it getting to that stage with the Toro Rosso drivers?
You see, it just shows you when you really look at it how both drivers and team are underperforming. When they're only 10 points ahead of Renault, 10 points ahead of Renault, where literally the wheels fall off one of the Renaults when one of the drivers walks past it.
Yeah.
And they're only 10 points clear off.
That's what I mean. It's a disharmonious team that they've nosedived since the beginning, and it is sad, really, because I thought they were going to have a great season from early doors. But
well, we had them in Red Bull first and second in the championship at first, didn't we?
Well, yeah, we thought that there might be a possibility that Toro Rosso would be up there.
Yeah.
But they just aren't. They started off well. They were 4th in the championship early on, but they've just slid. And we are, as I just said, we're now looking at a team who need to pick up points where they can.
Yeah.
And make sure they stay ahead of Haas and Renault.
Yeah. Kvyat not had a points finish since Spain.
Yeah, that's crazy. So do we think Carlos will get his wish? Do you think free the fine-haired one?
He's got the capabilities to do it, but I can't see there being a seat in a Red Bull, in a big boy Red Bull.
No, but do you see him getting? Do you see them letting him go though?
Possibly Williams was being talked about last week, I saw.
Well, Renault's been mentioned as well, hasn't it? But again, if you've got a cast iron contract with him where he can't go anywhere, I know they put the value on him as being $8.5 million or something, was it, to buy him out of his contract?
It was $8.5 million, £6 million.
Yeah,
I think that was the figure that I heard.
Let's be perfectly honest. Red Bull do not need £6 million. They're just that's just a figure they've slapped on them so they don't lose money. It's because it would be a fool's game to lose money on a driver. But they're 10 points ahead of Renault. do you think if Carlos Sainz was in Palmer's car, they would be 10 points ahead of Renault? Because that's the way I'd look at it if I was Toro Rosso.
Sainz is a better driver than Palmer when the car works.
Sainz might be a better driver than Hülkenberg. So, if he was in that car...
Well, you actually look at Sainz's record this season, and every race where he hasn't retired, he scored.
How many points has Hülkenberg scored?
26.
Boom. So he should at least have scored the same of amount. So
Sainz has scored 35.
Yeah, but no. What I mean is, if he was in,
only scored 4 points.
Yes.
Yeah. If he was in that Renault, though, you'd be expecting him to have scored something similar to what Hülkenberg has scored. That would put them ahead of Toro Rosso.
That would put them in 5th place.
Why give your enemy bullets?
Because Danny Rick, Max Verstappen aren't going to be in the Red Bulls forever. So you want to be lining up whoever's going to be next into the Red Bulls.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing that they won't let him go. Because why would you give Renault bullets?
Because you want to bring the new young talent through. I don't think there's any way Carlos Sainz will stick in Toro Rosso until there's a Red Bull seat available.
When your main drivers, when both of them, Red Bull have been steadily improving, but not looking like winning a world championship until Renault sort themselves out.
Yeah.
And when you've got both your top line drivers contracts up next year, and you've got essentially a default driver in the Mercedes at the minute, you've got a Kimi, which is like the amount of times he's leaving or not leaving, like he's literally like phasing out of existence now and again.
Transport a malfunction.
Yeah.
There's Chief O'Brien there going, I think I can hold him.
So there's two seats there, and that's not saying that Hamilton won't retire at the end of next year when his contract's up. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Lewis's latest statement is, I will finish my career at Mercedes.
Yeah, that's 3 seats.
Because his only other options are Williams and Ferrari.
Yeah, but there's possibly 3 seats there, yeah? Three seats, 2 Red Bull drivers that just happen to be, I would say, if you take Vettel and Hamilton out of it, because although I think Alonso is good enough, he's given the baggage he seems to keep with him. That's why the top teams don't want him.
No, the baggage just follows him. It's nothing to do with him. He's just there at the time.
It's like Rinsman's luggage.
Yeah. I nearly won my Discworld t-shirt tonight.
But just like out of our listeners, there's like 7 or 8 fucking pissing themselves now. But so
we've got Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton.
Basically, one of the top teams might be wanting one of the Red Bull drivers. Why would you get rid of Carlos Sainz when they might need to plug him into the car in 2019?
It makes sense.
That's why you'd keep him in Toro Rosso for another year. And you could...
Thing is, if they do get rid of Carlos Sainz, well, they're going to have Gasly and Kvyat.
Yeah.
Kvyat, who's never going to go back to Red Bull again.
No.
He
doesn't even deserve to be the Toro Rosso. And you're not going to get... even if
Sean Gallale's not ready to go into a team yet.
I don't like him. His surname sounds like Gale.
Okay. Thanks for that insight.
It's okay. I'm just giving you the facts.
You don't get this kind of analysis on Sky.
And that just leaves Nico Kari. Thank you, Andrew Pryor.
He must be good. He's got car in his name.
Yeah, the Red Bull young driver that I couldn't remember last week. Nico Kari. Andrew Pryor kindly sent a reminder in.
Thanks, Andrew.
Where's he from?
Finland.
Wish he was Japanese.
Why?
We could call him Kamakari.
Oh. So, Williams next.
Yep.
Williams.
2 points ahead of Toro Rosso. Yeah, Massa.
Doing all right.
Yeah. We thought
Doing okay.
We thought at the start of the season, he's turning up to collect a paycheck. It'll just be like Massa last year phoning it in.
Well, I said worst piece of business ever. actually not the worst piece of business ever. Massa's been doing quite a solid job whilst Lance Stroll was learning. He's been picking up points at most of the races, I think, Felipe Massa. And, Lance Stroll just...
Not up to Massa's standard yet,
No.
but improving every race, I think.
He's improving every. His curvature of improvement hasn't matched that of perhaps
a
Max.
Formula One driver.
Well, you could argue that Max Verstappen. I was thinking, Carlos Sainz, as we were talking about before as well. They improved vastly and together when they were at Toro Rosso. Early on. Lance Stroll has been given plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to just sort of relax, get used to it. Thanks for all the money. Just take your time. I honestly believe if he wasn't
warm towel, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Yeah, I'm sorry I crashed. Well, yeah, don't worry about it.
Would you like the dessert menu?
Would you like to see the drinks menu, sir? Irish coffee.
No thanks. I'm still driving.
Yeah. Irish coffee.
sorry, just
Irish coffee with that. I'm not old enough.
Would you like to see the drinks menu, sir? Spoilers. It's martini.
Just don't tell anyone you're drinking it.
So yeah,
He was brought in too early.
he was brought in a little too early, but only too early for him, I think.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't too early for some drivers to come straight up from Formula 3, but it has been a little too early for Lance Stroll.
I think maybe if he'd gone into Toro Rosso, somewhere where they're used to training up new drivers.
Mm-hmm. They don't do that at Williams so often, though, do they?
Well, Williams have had Bottas and Massa in for the past 3-4 years.
3 millennia.
I think if he hadn't have had 2 lucky finishes in Canada and Azerbaijan, I think you all would be having a much similar conversation to what I have about him.
I disagree because he's been getting closer and closer to Massa every race.
The thing is that have those 2 lucky finishes, where he's managed to get the car into a decent points paying position. Has that increased his confidence, and is that going to make him a better driver when he's more confident?
Didn't he have a dire race in Hungary?
Yes.
I don't think he did. Williams had a dire race in Hungary.
Where were the times compared to Massa?
He was something like 3 or 4 tenths slower than Massa.
Maybe. See, that's
on the
thing
Friday.
On the Friday, yeah.
Before the rest had jumped in the car.
Well, Massa was vomiting. But
even regardless of Massa, even regardless of Stroll, and I was saying Massa's doing a fairly solid job, which he's doing all well and good, grand. He's still Massa, and there's still that question in the back of my head thinking, I wonder what it would be like if a proper driver was in Massa's seat. And
you're just bitter because Jensen's not there.
No, I'd have liked to have seen what he'd have done with the car, but I think the thing is, Massa's on the decline anyway, and he's been on the decline for a few seasons. Yeah. So, I mean, does he? Is it a good enough benchmark to be almost as good as Massa, the broken version?
Well, it's a good enough benchmark to be getting closer and closer and closer, because Massa's consistent.
Mm-hmm. Massa says every week, I'm too old for this. Oh no, sorry, that's just on the Inside Williams documentary that Sky show 9 times a week. That's why I keep hearing.
Yeah, because I thought after every week Massa says, "Please let me stay."
No, I think Stroll has come in a year too soon.
I just realised that Massa's found the handholds that Rubens Barrichello had in Formula 1.
Stroll came in a year too soon. I think a year in GP2 or F2.
Yeah.
With some FP1s on a Friday morning in the Williams to get him acclimatised.
I think if he'd have had that, he wouldn't have got a seat.
It'd have got a seat anyway, based on the amount of money, because they would have made the seat out of Canadian dollar bills.
Yeah. I think if he'd had that, he would have had a whole lot less pressure from people saying he's only there because of the money.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think he would have looked slow in comparison to other people.
Yeah, there are a lot of drivers who are there only because of the money. but it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad drivers.
Ericsson.
He's awful.
I think Ericsson's better than Stroll.
No.
I think they're both very, very fucking similar.
I think the problem with Marcus Ericsson is this is his fourth year in Formula One.
Oh yeah, he shouldn't be there. But this is my problem with.
If Lance Stroll was still at that level, or was at that level, I think he's above it already anyway. Mm-hmm. If he was at that level after 3 years in Formula One and being like, all right, probably time to replace him.
Do you know what? This is why Formula One needs to be cheaper. You know, we always talk about like teams surviving, and we talk about like that whether if we made things simpler, then the field would bunch up and we get closer racing. One of the other bonuses we'd have from making Formula One cheaper is that teams wouldn't need to have drivers plugged into the car that are just paying their way through it.
Yeah.
If the sport was cheaper, we could maybe get a grid where it's not 60% of the grid, which are arguably the best drivers in the world. It might even be 50 when you think about it.
I'm just looking at the way that the grid stands. I mean, there's not all that many drivers that are there because of the money that they're bringing in. I think Palmer got there because of the amount that he was paying.
Yeah, no, but
then he left. Then Renault were left with no choices, and like we keep saying, he was the fifth choice this year. Mm-hmm. So
no, but I don't even just mean that. I mean, if all of a sudden Formula One was cheaper, I think that would have like almost the reverse trickle down effect, where just racing everything else might get a bit more similar.
The good drivers that don't have quite as much sponsorship get in, rather than the drivers that have got the sponsorship or the backing, regardless of ability.
Like I said, right now, if you were to turn around and say, right, we're redoing Formula One, you're in control of it, you can fucking book it like a wrestling match. You would rip out.
Oh, Bernie's back.
Yeah, you would rip out Jolyon Palmer, Grosjean, K-Mag, Lance Stroll, Danny Kvyat. Anyone else we can think of? If you were literally saying like we're going to try and have a grid of the best drivers in the world.
You didn't say Ericsson then.
Did it not take Ericsson?
You didn't say Ericsson.
Get Ericsson out of the car. Get Pascal out of the car. Like these.
Pascal scored points for Sauber and he scored points for Manor as well.
No, I'm just saying, is Formula One being the place where we want the best drivers in the world?
He might be a very good driver.
I think Pascal's up there with Ocon.
I want to see him in a similar car to Ocon.
We did in the Manor. They got similar results.
Yeah,
but Ocon has only had a couple of races under his belt.
But we've only seen Verline drive a shed.
It doesn't matter. He's not putting Ericsson totally.
I want to see Verline in a mid-grid sort of like Force India, perhaps sort of top end of the mid-grid to see where that puts them.
I don't think Pascal is a bad driver, but I still don't think in my idea of Formula One, I don't think he's right now. I think he's the sort of driver that if it wasn't for the backing he had, he'd have been a Ralph Furman that came in and then just fell away. We've had, don't forget, all through.
Come on, he's not that ugly.
Yeah, all through the years, we've had drivers come into Formula One and not make it, and then fall out. Yeah, but what happens is now for some reason
Esteban Tuero.
But they seem to stick a fucking round. You're getting drivers like Ericsson that aren't good enough to be in Formula One. They're not coming in, not making it, and falling away again.
Yeah, they are. Rio Haryanto. Where's he?
Well, maybe he's
dancing
gone
on the sand.
No, but like, do you know what I mean? Though we are getting drivers forging a career for themselves.
Rio Haryanto's in an episode of Stranger Things. He's in the Upside Down in a gravel trap.
Force India next.
Yes.
4th place. Strong 4th place.
They have a great car. They have some problems ahead. There may be trouble ahead.
For Force India.
Yeah.
But while there's moonlight.
I don't think there's much love and romance in that team at the moment.
They need a new owner.
They
need a new owner because they are going to have to be sold at some point.
They need someone to manage their drivers.
Yes.
Because if they don't get that relationship sorted out, then that comfortable 4th place is at risk.
It is, because even up to the summer break, Perez was still publicly saying, "Oh no, the crash in Azerbaijan, definitely Ocon's fault." And Ocon was saying, "No, it was seen as a racing incident." Both of them saying they didn't care what the management had said to the other one. That's what they said to them, and that's not good. You don't speak to your drivers separately. Speak to them both together. Sit them down. Right, look, that's happened. It's in the past. Put it behind you. Focus now on the rest of the season. Okay. I would imagine in Force India, it's either Otmar Safnoyer or Bob Fernley who sits the drivers down.
Yeah.
When it's really time to sit them down and have a good chat. So he sits them down, he has a chat. Esteban, Sergio, you're both very good drivers, and we're extremely privileged to have you in the team. However, your conduct over the last few races has been questionable ever since Canada, when Sergio wouldn't let Esteban through. I want you to forget all of that. All of it. You are going to find yourselves in similar places on the track again. And we make the calls, you do as you're told. That's how it goes for the rest of the season. We'll see where we are at the end. But we need to hold on to 4th, because if we don't, we're in trouble.
And then...
that's what needs to be said to those two drivers.
And but then Perez will turn around and say, in that case, I'm going to hold on to all my Mexico money.
And go where?
Yeah. Well...
They could take 3rd.
Yeah.
The Renault engines have been a bit explodey, especially for Verstappen.
Especially at high-powered circuits that we've had so far. And we've got a lot of them coming up.
Yeah. The only thing I'd argue with you saying they could get 3rd is that they've got themselves where they are against a very weak Red Bull at the beginning of the season. I don't see the Red Bull being that weak anymore.
If you get only one Red Bull finishing a whole load of races.
Yeah, that's true. It's like if the reliability isn't there.
And the 2 Force Indias behind them. Yeah.
Luck switches, and it's Verstappen who's up there scoring points, and Ricciardo's now dropping off.
Yeah.
That could easily happen. Has happened before in teams of Formula 1. So it could easily happen again.
So they need to be there, and they need their drivers not to be fighting against each other.
And they need double points for the rest of the season.
So it all depends whether there's something... I know Renault aren't bringing like proper upgrades to the engine, but it's all going to rely on whether that reliability issue that Verstappen had is something that's going to keep happening, or is something that was solvable with the machinery they had already.
Yeah, and I think it was a lot... Have we moved on to Red Bull
I'm
now?
guessing we've moved on to Red Bull now.
Can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from memory, none of the problems that Verstappen had were related. It was like a hydraulics issue at one race, an engine at another. Yeah. So it's not like there is one part that Renault could fix to solve the problem. It's just general not being as good as it could.
Well, look at all the breakdowns they had in Azerbaijan. I'm talking about Renault engines now.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen stopping in every practice session and every qualifying session. And then you got Danny Kvyat that brought out the first safety car because he pulled over because his engine broke.
Yeah.
And Jopo.
And Jolyon Palmer, yeah.
Who let the fire out of his engine.
Who let all of the fire out of his engine. Yeah, Renault have to get their, as an engine builder, have to get their reliability up to scratch. I don't know what input Red Bull can have into that, but in the battle for third, Force India could very well use this advantage of high-powered circuits being most of the flyaway races, especially towards the end of the year, as a platform to attack Red Bull, and if they are struggling with reliability, take third place. Which, amazingly, a step forward from 5th to 4th, and we laughed at that.
Yeah.
4th to 3rd is now attainable for Force India.
Yeah.
I think it's an outside chance.
No,
if they're going
outside, but it's still a chance, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something for them to fight for.
Yeah.
Sorry, we seem to have switched back to Force India.
Well, it's sort of the battle for third, really, isn't it? Between Force India and Red Bull that we're sort of discussing.
But if you're looking for prizes for a carrot to dangle in front of the Force India drivers.
To distract them from each other.
Yeah, stop fighting each other and we might take third place in the championship.
Yeah. Then your stock goes up.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah. No, it's quite right.
Yeah, then look, Checo, you can ask for more money from your sponsors.
Yeah. Or a seat at Ferrari.
Is Perez ready for another stab at a big team?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. He wasn't ready when he went to McLaren in 2013, but I think he's ready now.
It was desperation, wasn't it?
Fixed himself at Force India. I mean, when he went to Force India, that was either going to be make or break for Perez, much like Danny Kvyat being relegated to Toro Rosso from Red Bull. Could make or break him. I think when Perez went to Force India, it was just like, well, this is either going to make him or break him, and it's made him. It's been the making of Sergio Perez being at Force India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've pretty much covered Red Bull anyway. Oh, kind of.
Pretty much. I mean, Danny Ricks. I mean, there's been bad luck on both sides. Danny Ricks had a couple of retirements that were down to car issues. Max
the team are improving hugely compared to the start of the year.
Performance-wise, that car is looking very good, but the reliability will let them down. If it continues for the rest of the season, that reliability will let them down because most of the cars, especially the four in front of them, are going to finish most of the races, I would expect.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, what Danny's got in his back pocket is he just seems to be the guy, doesn't he? You know, if there's...
He's there when something goes wrong.
When something goes wrong, he seems to be the one that's always
We got, 4 podiums in a row that the Red Bulls didn't really deserve, but hey, they were there for the taking.
Yeah, exactly. They were there.
5 in a row.
5 in a row.
5 in a row. Yeah, straight run from Spain to Austria.
Yeah, very good.
Because that was shoey season.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo stay in Red Bull and get a Red Bull car
championship fight,
like a Seb car.
Yeah.
You know, regardless, even if there isn't another team involved in it, because they both come through the young driver program, and
one of them has.
Well, one of them has, but but they're both young, and I can't see.
They're both young Red Bull drivers.
Yeah,
I can't see them.
Oh, they've been young Red Bull drivers.
Webbering, like
anyone.
No, I think that they would. The team would actually let them race for it.
I think they'd have to because they'd be too scared of losing one of them.
Yeah, how old's Danny right now? 27?
Yeah.
So he's still got a few years before he has to start worrying about a world championship. So hopefully he'll get a shot.
Well, I think
a really good shot.
I think they were a bit caught off guard with how slow they are this year, aren't they?
Yeah.
There was an awful lot of that #MyTime going around, which I think might have been a little premature.
Well, they've also called it. Remember the pre-season car launches, and the Red Bull was the RB13, and they had neon signs up behind 13. Unlucky for some.
Yeah.
Verstappen. Yeah, mainly Max.
Yeah. Who runs 33 on his
car. Ferrari next, 318 points.
Wow. So that's a jump of like almost double from what Red Bull have got.
Almost double, but kind of 50 less than double.
50 less than double.
Yeah.
Are we keeping you?
I was trying not to yawn then, and all I did.
Is his dad yawning?
No, it was just a tired yawn. But all I did was trying to inhale the microphone and then let out a massive yawn. Sorry about that, listeners.
But more importantly, Vettel leading the Drivers' Championship, but Kimi in 5th.
Kimi's behind Danny Ricciardo?
Yes.
Yeah. It was unfair when Sergio Marchionne said at some point during the season that
Kimi's a laggard.
Yeah, Kimi's a laggard. Yeah, and he needs to speed up. He's not, and he doesn't.
In fairness to Kimi, he's actually come. He said it just before Silverstone,
and Kimi's been on it.
And Kimi's been on the podium the last 2 races.
Yeah, Kimi's. He's a world champion number 2 driver. He's the best at being number 2. He doesn't really want to be number 2. I get the feeling, but he, but he'll do what he can in order to do what he can, I suppose.
He possibly should have won Hungary.
Yes, but I can see why Ferrari didn't switch the drivers around. That made sense after the race.
I wonder what Kimi would be like if he, let's just say Seb had fucked off. Ferrari didn't have one of the top... Ferrari couldn't get Lewis Hamilton, for instance. Alonso They didn't want Alonso back.
They've gone with Grosjean or
Perez. You got Kimi and Perez,
or even like one of that young Italian guy that they're ttrying to push through.
Ferrucci.
Yeah, they'd gone with him to get him in the car. Yeah. I wonder what you'd get out of Kimi if he was like going into the season as number one driver.
It's really hard to tell because he doesn't seem to get mentally affected by things.
No. I think he does, though. I think, you know, when you see someone that's too happy to be that, and you think, well, maybe you're a bit depressed when you go home and you close your door. To be that not bothered about something.
Yeah, but I think I'm generalising here, but that's the Finnish mindset.
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, look at Bottas in that interview. You know these post-quali interviews now. Will Buxton said to Valtteri Bottas, qualified third. So it looks like you're a little bit on the back foot here this weekend. And he turned around to the two Ferraris in first and second and went, clearly. It's just the way of the Finnish people answer things.
But I think Raikkonen is even more Finnish than any other Finnish driver we've had.
I always get the impression from Raikkonen that he probably needs more of a cuddle from like managers and stuff than you think he does.
I don't know. I think Kimi Raikkonen's...
I've just got this image in my head of Kimi just going stranger danger.
I think Kimi Raikkonen's probably closer to the legend of the Stig than anyone ever.
Yeah, some say he was once sober on a Tuesday.
Exactly.
I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? But I mean, it looks like he's going to still be in the car next year. I think that's good news for everybody.
That was one of Vettel's contract negotiations, apparently. Keep Kimi around for next year.
Would you? Because they want to keep Seb for another like 3 years, don't they?
Yeah, I think that was the plan a couple of weeks ago.
How old's Seb? 30. 30. He just turned 30, didn't he?
Yeah.
Would you want to sign that if you were Sebastian?
Don't know. Sebastian wants to do at Ferrari what Michael Schumacher did at Ferrari.
Yeah.
That's evident.
And he's got to start doing that from next year.
Yeah.
But that's regardless, right? That doesn't. The driver can't do that. What Michael Schumacher did at Ferrari, because
it wasn't just Michael Schumacher.
It was a very
Ross Brawn.
Yeah, and
it would be like taking Christian Horner, Adrian Newey, and Sebastian Vettel from Red Bull.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Michael Schumacher was a massive part of this, and there's going to be like people screaming at
No,
the
they
podcast.
save that for Total Shunt when it's another NASCAR
probably.
driver.
But I'd argue that without Michael Schumacher in Ferrari, those people would have done a Michael Schumacher with Rubens Barrichello or Eddie Irvine. I think at that point they'd have made world champions.
Well, they had an opportunity to make Eddie Irvine world champion. Oh, look, the car doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ferrari will probably stick with the two drivers they've got. I haven't said that now. You watch, there'll be an announcement at Spa or something that Giovinazzi's in the car for 2018.
Seb's going to Mercedes.
Yeah, something like that. Ferrari left with nobody.
I can't see Mercedes not.
Yeah, Marcioni pulls all the funding out, so Ferrari have to sign Marcus Ericsson and Lance Stroll.
I can't see
and
Mercedes.
We're back to the days of Gerhard Berger and Luca Badoa.
Yes, we are.
I can't see Mercedes not wanting 100% German world champion at some point,
or a 100% German team.
Well, they tried that; didn't work very
Schumacher
well.
and Rosberg,
But
with the two Austrians in charge.
And realistically, that's only 75% German, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Rosberg.
No, the team at the time.
Yeah. So Ferrari going forward for the rest of this season though.
Ferrari are in a better position than they were at the summer break last year because
no shit.
Yeah, they have solved the turmoil and
they're leading the world championship.
Yeah, and yet Marcioni is still
swinging the axe,
threatening. Maybe they'll just stop listening to him. You know when you work for a company and you've been there a couple of years and you finally realise the MD is actually batshit mental, and it doesn't matter what comes out of his office, you just get on and do it anyway.
Paul. No.
I'm with Dan on that one.
If you've worked for one in the past?
No, Paul.
I'm with you. My boss is a right fucking despot.
I can say this now. I'm a freelancer, but yeah, I've worked for places in the past where there's been edicts coming out of the big office with the comfy chairs, and you just go, "Yeah, all right, fair enough. Forget that. We'll just carry on doing what we're doing."
Shh. If you listen really carefully, you can hear the bridges burning.
I was going to say, if you listen really carefully, you can hear the listeners leaving.
We'll talk about Mercedes.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
Yeah, leading the Constructors' Championship, but behind in the Drivers' Championship. Although, weirdly...
But looking stronger right
going
now than
into
Ferrari.
the second half of the season, yeah. It was muscling between Ferrari and Mercedes. We didn't really know who was going to be on top for race by race early on in the season. Up to around about... Well, it was Canada, really, wasn't it? It was Canada
I think so, yeah.
It was Canada, really, where because Monaco was before Canada, and Ferrari did very well there.
Ferrari and Mercedes were pretty much trading wins all the way up to Canada.
Yeah, and then from Canada, Mercedes went, got it. That's what we do with the tyres. We do this with the tyres.
Yeah.
We don't burn them out. We do this with them.
It's one on each corner.
I was putting them on backwards.
Pirelli goes to the outside of the car.
Yeah. So Mercedes, and they publicly came out and said it. We had a problem with the tyres. We believe we understand them better now. Since then, they appear to be a lot stronger at the faster circuits. I mean, look at Silverstone. Even without Ferrari's issues, they were, way down the road.
Yeah, see you later. Battle it out for third, guys.
Exactly, pretty much, yeah. Bottas was behind for a bit, but then he had issues. And again, the second half of the season is circuits that will suit Mercedes, unless, of course, rain or
Ferrari improve.
Ferrari have got to improve, yeah. Although when it comes to the development race now, and development race and sort of just sort of stretching their legs in this middle part of the season, it does look like Mercedes have eked out a bit more than Ferrari were hoping to. It looks like Ferrari have gone, right, that's where we're at the moment, and Mercedes have gone, well, we've still got a bit more in the tank. And they have managed to eke out that bit more. We'll know, really, at Monza. Belgium and Monza, if they're both races are dry.
Probably by Abu Dhabi.
Definitely by Abu Dhabi. Vettel's leading the championship by something like, is it 14 points?
It's 14, 14. 202 to 188.
Yeah, so Vettel's leading the championship. He's got a bit of a cushion. And the only way that I can see Vettel really, really remaining at the top of that by the end of the season is if Mercedes start taking points off each other.
Which they've been doing reasonably well all year.
Yeah, but Bottas... This is the thing with Mercedes. You could probably say Raikkonen's probably out of the title fight, driver's title fight.
I think you could have said that.
I think so, yeah.
But you can't say Bottas is out of it. Bottas and Hamilton are both in the fight for the drivers' championship.
Yeah, I mean it's
looking like a two-way fight, and Bottas is slowly catching up.
It's only 19 points between Hamilton and Bottas.
Yeah.
And that equates to one bad race.
Yeah. Well,
it's a retirement for Hamilton.
Yeah. And now that Bottas has proved he's perfectly capable of winning the races that Lewis doesn't.
And there are a few races coming up as well that Bottas is usually pretty good at. He's usually pretty good in Monza.
So what does this not look like a recipe of Mercedes maybe McLarening a championship?
Throwing it away against Ferrari.
Yeah. Having a panel beat all the dint out of Lewis's ego again.
Yeah, or perhaps Bottas doing a Rosberg and being like, yes, I've won the title against Lewis Hamilton.
But actually properly finished this time.
Yeah. But it's teed up for a really interesting second half of the season. We're still going to go to races not really knowing who's going to win, which is, I think, has been fantastic about 2017. That's been the best bit about the whole season.
I think not knowing which team is going to win.
Yeah.
I think we'll know that properly though on Saturday, won't we, in Belgium?
Week on Saturday,
sorry, on the Saturday of Belgium. I meant if Ferrari can, even if they're not in the hunt for pole, if the race comes around, they've got a quicker race car and they've got a qualifying car, which seems to be the story of the year. If they can fight Mercedes in Belgium, I think they could. We're going to have a cracker for the rest of the season.
Of the year, yeah.
If they can't take it to them, I think it is just going to be a case of slowly watching. And if the reliability's there, it's just going to be slowly watching Hamilton and then Bottas overtake Sebastian. And as soon as they're in front, I find it very difficult to see Ferrari get back in front.
Unless, like you say, Ferrari manage to find an improvement somewhere, or something clicks with Ferrari and they go, got it. Yeah. It's this.
Which is totally believable, because I imagine that Alfa Romeo factory was on overtime over the summer break.
Yeah. Yeah. The Ferrari factory was shut down, but in a racy. Which is a weird name for the Alfa Romeo factory, isn't it? It's actually called a racy.
That is very
R-A-R-E-S-E, but of course pronounced a racy.
So they go to a racy factory.
Yeah. Right now we're in a racy. A racy to produce the best carry.
Sounds like Jonathan Ross trying to say John Lacey.
Yeah.
Are we going to bother doing predictions for the rest of the season, or just...
Should we do heroes and villains for the rest of the season? And top three?
No, because it's bollocks.
No,
isn't it?
No.
We never get it anything close to right.
Well, let's do it anyway.
Yes, let's try.
Top three, I think it's going to stay as it is. Vettel will take the title, Lewis in second, and Bottas will be third. But Mercedes will win the Constructors' title.
Okay.
I'm going to say it because I'm going to put a bet on it now that I've thought it.
Go on.
Bottas.
World champion.
Vettel. Hamilton.
Ooh. Do you think Hamilton will be forced to support Bottas's world title attempt?
Oh, could you imagine it?
But everybody else will have trouble getting to fourth because they'll have all those extra chicanes because of all the toys on the track that Lewis will have thrown out of his pram.
It'll be like the old messages, only it'll be the radio going, pick up rubber and Lego. Pick up Lego.
And the stickle bricks. Don't forget the stickle bricks.
Don't forget Cuddle Bunny. Do not run over that.
Did you do a hero villain?
I didn't do a hero villain.
Carry on with the top threes then.
I'm gonna say Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, because I just think that Mercedes is going to be very strong in the second half of the season, and it will need something special from Ferrari.
A strong and stable Mercedes.
Strong and stable Mercedes. But it could even be Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, but that would be so disappointing for Sebastian after having such a great early part of the season. And Ferrari being so close and him so desperate to win a world championship with Ferrari to emulate his hero Michael Schumacher. I think this could be his 98, 99 for Schumacher, where it's so close but then it's not quite there at the end. So yeah, I think world championships will come for Sebastian Vettel at Ferrari, but not yet.
It's only 18-1 for Valtteri Bottas.
That's worth a look.
I'm going to be honest, no idea what the top three is going to be. My bold prediction. I know that's not what was asked for. I'm going off script here.
We can do bold predictions. We can do bold predictions.
Just not very well.
Yeah. That's why they're bold.
At Abu Dhabi, before the race starts, we won't know the top three in the championship. It'll be decided there. And I reckon maybe we'll get Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel. But I reckon all of those three will be able to win the championship.
It'd be good to see what speed Lewis can actually do around Abu Dhabi for a change.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Heroes and villains?
Yep. Do you want to start us off, Paul?
I haven't really... I don't know. Hero... I'm going to say Alonso. Because I think we will see him wring everything out of this Spec 4 engine, and we haven't seen the last of him in the top 10 this season.
Will he get a podium?
Look for him at the end of the season. I don't think we'll see.
Oh, I've got it. It's queued up beautifully. Alonso is the ruiner of Ferrari's season at Abu Dhabi. Vettel can't get past Fernando Alonso for the whole of the race.
Fernando is seen to be climbing out of his car with a clear and present erection.
They couldn't get out of the car. I'm sorry, guys, I'm stuck.
Somebody get Nicky Lauda, I need something to look at.
Villain for the rest of the season.
You can take that whether you want, whether it made it easier or harder to ejaculate.
Yeah, villain for the rest of the season. I don't know. Bob Fernley, because he will sit the Force India drivers down at some point and read the riot act to them, and then they will spend the rest of the season slagging him off because he's talked to them and not letting them do what they want, which is kill each other.
Lee?
Heroes Fernando Alonso, because he is going to at least get a podium, maybe win a race with the Spec 4 engine.
That would take some doing.
It would take Stoffel crashing the car in Singapore. No, I do. I think if he's proved he can get that car to like sort of 5th, 6th position with what it's got at the minute. And
faster laps than anyone else.
Yeah, if they can give him an engine equal to the Renault, and Danny Rick can get podiums in the Red Bull with that engine in the back of it.
Yeah.
Fernando Alonso can get a podium in the McLaren with an engine of that caliber in the back of it. Villain, I don't know. I'm tempted to go Stroll, but he feels like low-hanging fruit at the minute.
That's just the eyebrows.
He's stopped being Crashy Stroll, so
yeah,
he doesn't do much villainous nowadays apart from...
Yeah, it's just, you can't... slow isn't villainous. You know, that's Nanarus, just being slow.
No. Look, Mercedes were making out that Lewis was the villain last year for being slow.
True, and nanas do stop in the middle of the road when you're trying to walk around them and make it look like you bum them in public. So that's horrible. I'm gonna go.
Not my nana.
K-Mag, because he lost his head with Nico Hülkenberg, and I've just got a feeling that maybe that was a trickling of like frustration with this situation that's there. So maybe a K-Mag.
I just think he might be a prick.
Yeah. I think you're probably right.
My hero, I'm going to go for...
I need to change my mind.
Go on.
I'm putting Fernando Alonso as my hero for the reasons doing, but I needed a tier 2 hero, and you aren't fucking ready for this. Nico Rosberg.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Are you high?
Right. Because somebody won a competition from the Nico Rosberg fan club.
To have a weird, awkward selfie taken with him?
And they tweeted Nico Rosberg saying, I've
won.
Yeah, I've won, unfortunately.
I'd like to give this prize to my friend Lewis.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately, because it was tickets to an event, and at that event you could meet Nico Rosberg, and it was in Stuttgart. And they tweeted Nico Rosberg saying, "I'm sorry, I live in fucking Baku, yeah. I can't do it. I don't have the money to get there. I just want to say I'm a massive fan. Blah blah blah. and I'm really happy to have won the competition. Nico tweeted them back saying, don't worry about that, I'll pay for your flights and accommodation, I'll get my manager to PM you, my agent to PM you.
Nico Rosberg.
That is pretty cool.
That is impressive.
Yeah, he even finished the message off by saying, I wouldn't want to miss out on meeting you, which I thought was very nice.
That's lovely.
It
well
is.
done, Nico Rosberg.
Yeah.
So he was a nice guy after all.
But it seems so. Who'd have thought?
My hero, on track hero, I think it's difficult to go with anybody else other than Fernando Alonso. And
The fact he hasn't had a nervous breakdown.
Exactly. Off track hero is going to be Nigel Mansell for coming on this podcast and speaking to us.
Villain if he doesn't.
Not villain if he gets the restraining order.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be the judge. But and villain, I think, is going to be Sergio Marchionne. He was lucky that he didn't implode that team last year, or that the team didn't implode under that pressure that he was putting them under last year.
Yeah.
And I think with the stress of a faster Mercedes or two faster Mercedes around your championship.
All good points.
Yeah, I think his reactions could be so negative on Ferrari that he could lose them the World Championship, not necessarily anybody else.
He could lose them there for Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah.
Right. Ignoring the predictions I've made about the top three, because that's a different timeline.
Right, okay.
Hero, Robert Kubica, comes back in the Renault, turns out to be faster than Hülkenberg, gets it on the podium.
You've not seen his arm, he's already lighter.
I've not been told that yet.
All right. Abu Dhabi?
At Abu Dhabi or before that.
All right, okay.
Otherwise it wouldn't be this season.
No.
Where he overtakes Alonso and then Vettel can't get past the pair of them.
Yes.
Oh, hilarious.
Villain, Toto Wolff.
Oh, go on.
Either for letting his drivers race or for not letting his drivers race. It doesn't matter which one. He's going to be the villain.
I thought you were going to say for breaking an expensive oak table.
Let us know your predictions for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we can go through them next week because
Yeah.
we've got a Belgian preview and probably, unless Kubica is confirmed in that Renault seat tomorrow,
I think we're going to have
a lot of news.
Well, we're going to have to do two versions of the podcast next week. One if Kubica gets the drive in Belgium and one if he doesn't.
Yes.
like some sort of important episode of Coronation Street.
Yeah, we'll film both endings, and then we'll put the right one out.
Can we do another podcast where Jenson Button comes back next year and wins the championship?
You record one of those every week when we're not here. That's why the settings are always different on the mixer.
In my mind.
Total shunt time. Lee, you've got a guitar behind you.
I do.
It should be in front of Chris.
It will be very shortly.
It's now in front of Chris.
And that gives you time to actually open one of your devices with the questions on it.
Yeah, she's done. I'm like in between looking at porn when we do this. I sometimes do some work. Didn't even know you could do that.
I don't like the way you catch my eyes during the podcast anymore, Lee.
I thought we were going to get Total Stairway to Heaven shunt this time.
No, that's one song you're not supposed to play in a guitar shop, isn't it?
Well, we're not in a guitar shop. We're in Lee's dining room.
No.
Sorry, Three Legs Towers.
Oh, it's beautiful.
There's a driver who drives, and he's not looking where he's going, and he's
And he's shunting a stairway to total.
Thanks for saying that. That'll do. Otherwise we'll be here for hours.
Do you know what? Sometimes when I hear you play that guitar, Flood, I think when I dropped it and it cracked the body, it might have helped it stay in tune.
Right, let's have a crack at these. I mean, you just found some t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know what that
That's fine. It's in the bin.
Who sent this week's in?
Who sent this in?
Jolien Palmer.
Jose Suarez? Suarez? Mercedes. I take that's not his surname.
Jose Suarez Mercedes.
Yes. Do we know him?
Nope.
I don't know him.
Hello.
Hello, Jose Suarez.
Hola.
Or hola, yeah.
He's
all right if you don't speak Spanish, because some people don't.
I'm having to learn very quickly.
Yes, you will have to.
He's at the Oni Warrior. I take it that's Oni, O-N-I.
Okay.
Sounds Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. I was born in 1966. In the USA, you can have that.
Right. AJ Foyt. Seeing as we've hit a seam of NASCAR, I'm just going to mention the only NASCAR driver I can remember.
Is that a real man?
Yeah, AJ Foyt.
I think he might have even been an IndyCar driver, and there's probably half of America now going, "Don't you know anything?" No. I don't.
I think they're fully aware of that.
1966, so about 51 years old.
Yeah.
Born in the USA.
No, I just said born. I just went for a NASCAR driver, or what I think is a NASCAR driver.
No, I didn't say in the USA.
Oh,
I
USA.
said born in the USA.
Yeah.
How old's Bruce Springsteen?
Older than that.
60-something.
Yeah. Richard Petty, that's another NASCAR driver.
I will also
Tom's
point
brother?
out,
Go on.
we've got 10 questions.
10, so it's back to the normal
So
form.
OG shunt rules.
Right.
OG shunts.
Yeah. In my younger years, I participated in judging competitions. In juggling competitions. I need my glasses on.
In my younger years, I participated in juggling competitions.
Yeah.
That'd be somebody who is very good coordination-wise. Then.
I came second in the 1981 International Jugglers Association Championships in the junior category.
Very good, I think.
Anyone ever tried to juggle?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard.
It is really difficult.
Yeah, I don't have good coordination, so I shouldn't attempt these things.
Apparently, drummers are meant to be good at juggling.
That's why I quit drumming.
I can do a juggle, but not a good juggle.
I was waiting for the payoff on that.
what's
I've got to admit, I thought there was going to be smut.
We haven't got a clue, have we?
None whatsoever.
Racing drivers who might juggle at a professional level.
American racing drivers who might juggle.
So the balls only go left.
Prepare for the doors to be blown off this competition.
Uh-oh.
My mother was a school secretary and my father was an insurance salesman. Hashtag giving the game away.
Yes, we've got to choose a name now.
So probably not Dale Earnhardt Jr.
No. Too young for Dale Earnhardt Sr. Don't think it'd be AJ Foyt, who I think actually was in
Michael Andretti? No, because
Jeff
his dad
Gordon?
wasn't there.
He's always a good standby, isn't he?
Or was his dad Flash Gordon, who wasn't
But he saved every one of us.
a school teacher?
No,
Or
he
school
was.
He was a
secretary.
baseball player, wasn't he?
No, he was quarterback for the New York Jets.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Hate that film.
The New York Jets, who
Night Jets.
made the sort of error on the pitch with the name that Lee would be most proud of. They called it the butt fumble,
Nice. Like it.
where the quarterback fell over,
I
head-butted the guy in front of him's arse, dropped the ball, and the other team ran it into the end zone.
I am a fan of a butt fumble.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon. That's all we've
Yeah.
got. Oh, Chris, you want us to write things down, don't you?
Right, it's okay. I could probably. So, clue number one. Well, or guess number
Guess
one.
number one, Jeff Gordon.
Geoff. Is he not a Geoff though? Is he? He's a Jeff.
No, he's a Jeff with a J, I think.
He's not a Geoff. He's a Jeff.
It's one of them.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me.
You're not.
I have been to many Formula One races. You may have seen me. but I've never participated in one.
Oh, what's your director's name from Happy Days?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
No, he's older than that.
Monday, Tuesday, Happy Days.
I mean, Happy Days started in
Thursday,
mid-70s. And Richie Cunningham was older than 9 years old at the time.
Yes, he was. Are we thinking perhaps...
Who's the ex-IndyCar driver that they always seem to get as a steward?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
How old is Chase Carey?
He's got to be older than
51.
51.
Yeah, he's going to be 60s.
Sean Bratches?
He's got pants that are older than 51. That's what I've heard.
Sean Bratches doesn't have the face of a juggler.
No.
Continue. Yes, please.
My hair game is typically on point, as it needs to be. I spent a lot of my time on the camera.
So, somebody born in America who spends a lot of time on television.
I'm also a fan of using the term "on point" for things.
Yeah, on point is better than being on fleek, which I think are only eyebrows.
On fleek sounds it's a bit wet in it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we're talking actor.
I think that's about the right age for Keanu Reeves.
He goes to some races, but...
I could well believe he was a junior champion juggler.
You couldn't you?
And he basically, if it's got an engine, he will turn up to watch it.
Yeah.
Regardless of time zones and jets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was at the... What was he at those two races? He was at
Monaco and Indy 500, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at both.
And
was he not at,
it was at Austin and Shanghai.
Was it Shanghai or was it Japan, the MotoGP? He was at the Austin race.
I think it was the Austin MotoGP and the Shanghai Grand Prix.
That's right,
I think.
Yeah. He was at both.
Yeah. Oh, also, don't anything I say, don't look for clues, because once again I can't see.
Okay.
Even now you put your glasses on.
Yeah, no, it's at the bottom of the page, and I've purposely not gone down far enough to see it.
Ah, right.
How many is that? Is that 5?
Yeah.
One more then, and then we'll have a guess.
I have participated in 71 races and have 9 podiums.
That aren't in Formula 1.
I'm probably not Keanu Reeves.
Patrick Dempsey did a lot
good
of
hair
endurance
game.
racing.
And
Quality
has a
hair
great
game.
hair game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Shall we lock that in as our second guess?
Yeah.
Patrick Dempsey, that's a great call.
Yeah, Keanu doesn't have the hair game to call it great.
No.
I would disagree with that. Right, strongly disagree. That man had some solid hair in the Matrix. Is that hair that's styled, but he can still run his fingers through it, so it's almost like he's got no products in it.
Onwards with the shunting.
Right, sorry, yeah. But he infuriated me then. My highest finish was second, but I didn't do it alone.
At Le Mans.
Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah.
I own my own race team,
Dempsey Racing.
as well as the partial owner of Vision Racing.
Vision Racing.
I am still sticking with that.
Partial Vision Racing.
80s throwback. I kind of hope that means that all the drivers have got like holograms of animals on their chest that come out.
Oh, okay.
No. All to a global hypercolour.
Nobody heard of the Visionaries.
No.
It was the best cartoon.
Anyway.
Dogtanian.
It's better than that.
No, it wasn't.
Dogtanian didn't know whether it was a documentary or not. I can fuck off.
No, that was Willy Fogg.
Do we want more?
Yeah.
I have raced in Le Mans 24 Hours, Rolex Sports Car Series.
That's the dodgy version you buy on the market.
Yeah, Le Mans Series, United Sports Car Championship, and Porsche Super Cup.
I am hearing nothing for me to change my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
When I was told, when I told my boss I quit to race full time, it was like I was killed. What?
What, when they
read it through first?
When,
and
sorry,
then read it through out loud.
When I told my boss that I quit to race full time, I was killed in a car accident.
On ER.
He wasn't ER.
Was
he
it
was
ER?
the other medical one, Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's
Yes.
Anatomy.
Glad that do you understand why I got so confused then?
Not really, because we've been saying it's Patrick Dempsey. And
I don't know who Patrick Dempsey is.
He used to be an actor until he quit to race full time.
If it's him, he's all those things. Are you Patrick Dempsey?
I'm Patrick Dempsey.
He's all those things.
Right. But like Patrick Dempsey to me sounds like some cad that should have been trying to court Mr. Darcy's woman.
Sounds plausible.
It does actually sound plausible, yes. But there you go. Paul got that all by himself.
Thank you very much for sending in that Turkish Shunt, and I'm surprised she's got that. Because like I said, I don't know who the guy is.
Yeah, don't forget, some of us stay up 24 hours to watch all of Le Mans.
Yeah. Some of us.
This is a fact, Paul.
One of us stayed awake.
Formula Lee time.
Formula Lee time.
Yes. I have a couple of things to say about this one, mainly aimed at Chris Rowden and John Paul Vitullo. There is a deadline.
Controversial.
Now, Lee is the steward, shall we say,
Yeah.
on allowing their times to go through. Neither of them are in the points.
Right.
So are they allowed?
Well, is it?
Are they faster than Lee?
Can I ask whether before I know whether they're faster than me or not? What's the nice thing to do? Is it nice to let them through, or is it nice not to let them through?
It's nice to let them through, but give it as their last life. And if they send a late time in again, it doesn't get included.
No, but it is nice to let them through.
I think it'd be nicer not to let them through with these scores.
Fuck them.
They're in then. You're not being nice. No, we'll let them go through because John Paul Vitullo, you were about 5 hours late.
Yeah.
And you came 30th out of 31.
Right. Okay.
Chris Rowden, you were 25 minutes late. He was the one that we were talking about just as I got here. You were 12th. So you didn't affect the points. Special shout out to...
So basically, let the guy in that's last and sack him.
Where did the four of us...
Well, I just want to give a special shout out to a friend of the podcast and whiskey connoisseur, Mike McPherson, who it's lucky that we don't run the 107% rule in here, because he actually managed to finish 15 seconds off the pace.
Well, was he in the right track?
I don't think he was even in the right car. I didn't know there was GP2 2016. I didn't know that was a game. Bearing in mind that you needed to be in the 116s to get in the points, and Mike's time of 129.3 put him last.
Well, given your bullishness here, Paul, you must have at least won the 3 legs 4 wheels game.
I did until 3 minutes to 7. Because the 3 legs 4 wheels challenge. Chris, you're going to use the excuse you've been on holiday.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you had 2 weeks.
Seems fair.
117.559. Dan 117.459. Me 117.359. So there was exactly a tenth between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Lee also participated.
What time? Go on.
117.192, which he got about 5 to 7.
Got it at it was before that. It was about 5 to 6. I got that because I just went on to have a quick look. I thought, oh fuck, Paul's faster than me. I best do a lap. So I took your setup. I went a tenth and a half faster than you, whilst feeding a baby.
I hate you.
Well,
the track Nazis were out in force for this one.
Oh, they were. This was you can't say that. It's the German Grand Prix.
I can say anything I like. Nazis are a real thing now.
Yeah,
I've seen the news.
Gotta give Flood his dues, like.
Oh God, no, Jacques. Right now, we actually had a tie for 10th place, and in true Formula One rules, we had to take the time that was sent in first.
Yeah.
So with 1:16.792, Finn Wilson gets the point, who sent his time 2 days in before Nick Patakis, the slow Greek.
Oh, Nick, you nearly made it.
So he was slow on the email.
Actual racing driver Nick Patakis.
Actual racing driver Nick Patakis.
I'd just like to point out I abhor anything to do with Nazis. Please continue.
In 9th place, James Penny, 1:16.723. Bradley Chambers, who once he came home from holiday and didn't have network lag, because he actually took his laptop and PS4 remote with him and played over the internet.
Right. Oh wow, okay.
So that is dedication to the cause. But then when he got home, he got a better time, 1:16.526, and came 8th. Real racing driver James Holman in 7th, 1:16.490. Karl Jaroszek, who me and Lee both used his setup.
I added this as a friend on the PlayStation as well.
Yeah, he was 6th place with the best time with that setup at 1:16.239. Alessandro P, don't have the surname, just have the Twitter handle. 5th place, 1:16.136. Pete Bull in 4th, 1:16.124, and the top 3, if I am not mistaken, is identical to last week. Last one, 2 weeks ago in Hungary. Chris Albee in 3rd, 1:15.874. Jeff Sharp in 2nd again, 1:15.428, and demolishing everyone. Actually doing a Jeff Sharp on Jeff Sharp. 1:14.782 for Luke Nimber. We will get the prizes out to the top 3 courtesy of Ultraflix.
Jeff's lost it since he gave a win away.
Yeah, I think he needs to come back strong for Belgium.
I think he's knocked his confidence. He shouldn't have barricaloed somebody.
He took the win. He just gave away the prize.
Yeah,
but that's what Schumacher did.
So, with that, closes one Formula League and opens another.
Belgium.
Belgium.
According to Douglas Adams, the worst swear word in the universe.
Are we all going to be swearing at the end?
I won't say what I was going to say then. Even that was wrong, even for me, for this podcast.
And
who have we got?
I've got a horrible feeling I know where this is going.
Well, it always rains in Spa, doesn't it?
That's where I thought this would be going.
Always rains, so we've got to have a wet Spa.
Well, yeah, because a dry Spa, it just sort of friction on your skin. I've got a wet Spa in the back garden.
How's that? Have you got a new one yet?
Yeah, I had the new one for about 2 weeks, and yeah, it's great.
Good
stuff.
Hasn't deflated. Spent half an hour in it this afternoon.
Amazing.
I'm relaxed.
And in honour of Jenson Button's most dominant win, where he got pole and won in a McLaren, we'll have Spa wet McLaren.
Dan has sort of internally sighed.
I was going to say was doing a good impression of Macaulay Culkin. So you have until 7 o'clock UK, 2 o'clock Eastern time in the US on the 28th, which is the Monday after the race.
Yeah.
To get your time in. Usual methods of doing it, send them on a private message on Twitter, private message on Facebook to the Three Legs Four Wheels page, or send them an email to threelegsfourwheels@gmail.com.
But not during the race.
But not during the race.
Yes.
As some people were doing last week.
Last time
there was a race on. In Hungary, I didn't mention this one before, but yeah,
we received 3.
We got 3 times in during the formation lap.
We're busy watching the race while the race is on.
Why aren't you?
It's true. Also, if anyone out there is going to add me on PlayStation, It's Lee Drum 100. Tell me, write a message, because I don't fucking know any of you. So if I just get random requests through, I got a request before by some person, and they put a message with it going, "Are you about?" I mean, what? No, I don't know. I don't know where you are.
Yeah, can I ask a favour as well? If anyone's going to add me on PlayStation as well, because I get the times off PlayStation for people that have added me, because that's an extra feature for PS4 users. Put your real name on there, because it makes doing the timesheets a hell of a lot easier if I don't have to refer back to who's who, and I just go on to view profile.
Yeah, that works.
So you have 2 weeks now. If you go onto our Facebook page or scroll back a few days on Twitter, you will see that we put a poll up for what to do when 2017 comes out.
Was it Cubit?
No, the game.
Oh.
No, we're not doing every race in a Renault next year. And there were 3 options on there. It could either be the Italian Grand Prix, the Singapore Grand Prix, or the start of the 2018 season. And currently, I know I should have brought this up earlier, because I haven't got the page open. Currently, at the moment, the
Paul's padding skills
favourite is the Singapore Grand Prix.
Sounds good.
With 39% of the vote. Mm-hmm. You've got until Saturday the 19th to get your vote in, and then we will make a decision. Well, we will make the announcement based on what is the winner.
Yeah. If you've got the money to go and buy the new game, just vote for To Do It by Italy, because then you might be upsetting some poor people. And that's one of my hobbies.
Thanks, Lee.
Jacques Villeneuve, where are you when we need you? Mailbag. Couple of questions for us all. First one from Mike P. Brink. I'm waiting.
P. Brink.
P. Brink.
P. Brink.
I had to go for a P.
Hi,
Brink
Mike.
before.
Hello, Mike.
Mike at Brink Brothers.
Hey, Piss, stop.
Oh, P is a letter.
P as in the initial, yeah.
Mike P. Brink.
Yes.
Mr. Brink.
Yes.
Hello, Mike Brink.
I'm at the brink. Let's get on with this.
Sorry, it's just the way Paul said it. I'm very sorry. Go on.
It's my accent.
I know.
I have several. As someone who's
Partly
new,
his name as well.
As someone who's new to F1, could you explain what specifically about a particular driver's style endears them to you? For example, something that a driver did on the track that made you like them.
Mostly their hairstyle for us, isn't it?
I was just going to say that.
Hairstyle.
That's why you're so down on Kubica.
They have to have good hair. I like a driver who's
a crushed linen suit when they're sort of out, like the Rosberg at Monaco.
Yeah,
because you were always such a big Rosberg fan.
He really got a massive wide on for Rosberg tonight.
Hey, the guy looks cool. I've never ever given him anything else but a strong hair game. I didn't. He's got good hair. He's a handsome motherfucker.
Anyway, when it comes to actual driving style, I like a driver who is aggressive and gives it all, but obviously doesn't push over the edge all too often.
Like
Your Verstappen's overtaking people where you can't overtake people.
Yeah, exactly. Dan said it perfectly. Yeah, the sort of Verstappen style of driving. I think he's probably the most exciting driver out there at the moment.
Anyone who's putting cars where the car shouldn't be.
Yeah, I also quite like the you're saying, like the Alonso style. You know, fast, smooth, not necessarily pushing too hard. You don't see Alonso making an awful lot of mistakes, do you?
No.
He's just fast.
That might be because he's just good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you get drivers who push hard all the time, and they do make mistakes. So when Lewis Hamilton was following the Ferraris in Hungary, he was making mistakes.
Yeah,
because he was trying to push a little bit too hard than perhaps the car would allow.
When Pastor Maldonado was in a car when he was pushing too hard.
Yeah, he pushed hard most.
Anytime he was in a car,
apart from Spain.
Yeah,
but yeah, he pushed a little bit too hard at times. Exciting driving is what I really like, and like Dan said, being able to overtake in places you probably shouldn't be able to overtake.
Yeah. That's things for me like
something special.
Two Jacques Villeneuve ones spring to mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Belgian pass.
Yeah.
And the other one, which was, I think it was 97 at Estoril, when there was a sort of long right-hander, and he made a pass on the outside of, I think it was Eddie Irvine, on the outside of a 180-degree, very long right-hander, and it turned out he had the car set up in the same way that he would have had his IndyCar set up for an oval.
Right.
Because he knew he'd be able to make as many passes as he wanted on that corner. Nobody else thought of it, and it was a quality bit of driving to get him through. Because he was just enough on the edge to get round at speed and just leave everybody else in his wake.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I think we look for, isn't it, really? It's just the ability to do that extra little bit. But,
and people like Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso both put Minardi were a backmarker team.
Yeah.
Both put them well into the points when you only got points for the first 6 places.
Yeah.
So anything like that.
For me, I tend to. I mean, obviously, you want drivers to be good, and you want them to race well with each other.
Blistering qualifying laps as well.
Yeah.
You know, like when you hear the commentators say, "Well, we're expecting the pole time to be about 1:15.2," and then I don't know, Vettel goes and does like a 1:14.8. Like, what was that?
It's like when, for me, I like when you can see drivers trust and respect each other.
Yeah.
Like the first one that comes to my mind there is Alonso and Webber at Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff like that I like. But as far as just like drivers and what drivers I gravitate to, I'm more of a fan, to be honest, of the way, if I'm given support out, of the way they handle themselves off track.
Yeah, that's the thing as well.
It's a big part.
Yeah, Michael Schumacher, for example, wonderful driver, terrible personality, awful personality.
Yeah.
So yeah, that didn't really. I wasn't endeared to Michael Schumacher at all because of his personality off track. You know,
and just as sporting with other drivers, you know, it's not on.
Who was the best driver of the 2015-2016 seasons? Sebastian Vettel, because he
was happy.
He was happy.
Yeah.
Whilst Hamilton and Rosberg were miserable in their championship battle, and worrying about what the other one was going to do. And Vettel was brilliant. He's on the podium almost every single time with them, and just having a laugh. You know, but that everybody loves that joke. The post race interview, when Vettel tells Nico Rosberg he's going to come and have a look at Mercedes debrief.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go to your debrief so I can see what's going on. I want to know why you're 30 seconds ahead, but you're still saying that we're close. I'm coming to your debrief, and Nico Rosberg, for some reason, rose to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can come if you want to, but we have to invite you. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll turn up.
I mean,
we like that. A sense of humour is important as well.
But even outside of Formula One, like I've always been a big fan of that. I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast. When Spain was started having financial problems, Alonso made a point of pointing out that he was keeping his money in Spain because his country needed that more there than he needed saving a few quid on tax.
Yeah,
you know, I like it's things like that show that like there's an honourable man behind the on-screen man, and I quite like that sort of thing.
I think that's why a lot of people got a massive sort of downer on Lewis Hamilton because of all the social media sharing that he doesn't look what lifestyle I've got. This is what you aspire to. You are not me.
Yeah, but
that's how it comes across.
Yeah, but for every person that doesn't like that, there's 100 that love it.
Yeah.
So it's
but they're all shallow.
No, but it's not. It's like Lewis Hamilton. If we're honest, like he's not for us. If it's not like he's for a younger generation that are into a different thing.
Yeah,
like,
you call me old.
Yeah,
Lewis Hamilton on a Sunday is for us.
Yeah,
yeah.
Fangio was for Paul.
Lewis Hamilton on track. I think he's brilliant. He used to be very. I've said this on the podcast many times before. He used to be very sort of Ayrton Senna-ish, as in obviously that's his idol. He would push. And at all costs sort of driving, which is wonderful. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Doesn't win any championships.
No.
So now he drives a lot more like Alain Prost.
Yeah.
Sort of, all right, okay, well, I've got this position. I probably shouldn't have this position. I'll hold on to it. I'll take advantage when the advantage comes my way.
Some of Hamilton's qualifying is exceptionally Senna-esque.
It is, yeah.
But like I say, I think Senna was just a normal Formula 1 driver anyway, so... Or a very good Formula 1 driver. That's not a god.
That's fair enough. Other thing that we got in tonight, actually, while we're recording the show, I want to throw this open to all the listeners, particularly the listeners in the US. Someone called Austin the Creator, who sounds like a wrestler.
It does sound like...
Or a rapper.
Or a rapper. Oh no, it's the, not that.
Or somebody that takes his plasticine game exceptionally serious.
Anyway,
well, back to Lewis's hair again.
Austin the Creator.
Austin the Creator. As an American just getting into F1, how can I get more of us Americans to watch? Right, America, it's over to you. Send in your suggestions for how Austin can get his mates to watch. If you've got your friends to watch, how did you do it?
More fire, less rules.
That's NASCAR, isn't it?
It's less of a sit down and less of a sit down and watch the racing than it used to be. It's more of a thinking sort of strategy thing as well. I think it is anyway. That's how I watch Formula One. By always trying to work out what the other teams are going to do, where their next move is going to be. If they can't get closer on track, how are they going to change their race strategy to try and get closer or jump ahead during pit stops? Is there anything they can do with the tyre strategies to get closer? I enjoy that part of the race where I'm trying to work out what the other teams might do or try and do during a race.
I think that's all good, but I'm not sure that's how you grab people's attention. I would say, if you're an American, wait for the American Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas.
Mm-hmm. Go and watch it.
Go and watch it would be awesome. Or get some mates round and watch it on TV. It is probably one of my favourite circuits on the calendar.
Yeah.
One of mine.
We like them that much, and we'd like them even more if they brought us over to watch it there.
Follow them at COTA on Twitter.
Yeah. Try and do it with racing fans as well, because if you're gonna try and convert your mates and none of your mates like motor racing, you've already got
you're fighting a losing battle. It'd be like me. It'd be like me inviting you three guys around for a night of NFL.
Yeah, I can understand how hard it is for anyone in America to be bothered, like trying to get into Formula One, or to be bothered doing it when you consider that, like they have top line motorsport.
Yeah, which is at a good time of day to watch for them, because a lot of the races are European time, so you're looking at getting up at 6 a.m. to watch a race.
Which is another reason that the Circuit of the Americas race is a good one for fans in the US to watch.
But I mean, and the other thing,
I'll watch the Japanese Grand Prix late on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
with the with IndyCar just being like centralized in America, or like lots of. For some reason, lots of people watch IndyCar and NASCAR, and I'd have thought like some sort of stroke would happen if I tried to watch both of them.
You'd lose use of the right side of your steering wheel.
Yeah, but like basically, if you like racing and you're American, because your two biggest championships are in America for every race. Chances are, wherever you are, there's a chance to go and watch one of those races somewhere,
at a comfortable time.
And I can understand why America is so insular when it comes to sport, because they don't need to outsource it.
Yeah.
And the big American sports, again, it all happens at a time for America.
Yeah.
When the NFL have played games at Wembley, they've started over the last couple of seasons kicking them off at lunchtime, and they've been calling it sort of wake up to Wembley, because fans of teams have been having to get up at sort of 7 a.m. to watch a game. Now, as a one-off, that's all right, but you couldn't do that every week.
No,
unless you were really dedicated to the sport.
Which is why I think it's imperative that the Formula One finds more races in that time zone. Not necessarily in the United States, maybe one in Canada, or
like the Canadian Grand Prix,
an extra one. I mean,
an extra, right?
Okay, one in Canada, or the extra South American races, perhaps, that sort of fit in that same time zone.
Yeah, and possibly stop scheduling the Asian ones for the British market.
Yeah. Well, they're usually for the European market.
It's only the Singapore Grand Prix that's scheduled on European time.
Out.
Malaysia is usually held off a little bit later as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
because that's clashed with the rain, and the organisers have said, well, if you let us hold it 2 hours earlier, we'll avoid the rain. They said, well, we can't because of TV.
And even Abu Dhabi, they schedule that in the evening there so that it's
to base it to get the times for Europe. Yeah.
Are we starting to get to a point? I think certainly for maybe the generation below us, sort of 4 generations below you, Paul.
If I could move far enough to get to you
and think fast enough, then you could have one over on me. I not only did that, I proved a point at the same time. But I've now forgot my own point. I was basking in my own glory. Do you think it's going to start to become a moot point whether it's on live or not? Because TV is something that nobody watches live now.
It's
really.
On demand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sporting events are the only thing that are really...
I think live sport. Seeing it live makes a difference.
You're right, but I know, like, I'm a massive wrestling fan, but all WWF stuff is stupid o'clock in the morning for me. I haven't watched a live.
And 15 years ago, it's been WWE for about that long.
Yeah, I haven't been.
Me old.
Yeah, you remember when they did it in the Coliseum?
He's not talking about wrestling. He's talking about the pandas.
Fucking love me some white and black bears. But the least racist animal in the world.
Because they're Asian, white, and black.
Yeah. It's like, how many minorities can you fit in one bear?
Hang on a second.
Take the front seats out and drive across the Severn Bridge. Oh no, sorry, that's 2 wheels in a Mini.
Oh God, the wheels have fell off this quickly, haven't they?
I think we're all tired.
You were saying about recording live sport.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't watched live wrestling for ages. Funny enough that, like, since I've been watching a bit of New Japan, that's really good because their pay-per-views tend to end at 12 o'clock, so I can watch them in the morning on Saturday. It's fucking great. But it doesn't bother me because I know you're going to say, well, wrestling's not a sport, but in the end, for all intents and purposes, it's a sport that can be spoilt by me finding the results out. So you just stay away from Twitter for a day, and you're fine. I don't think it matters that much that people can't watch it live, especially if you're just getting into it.
Yeah.
Like I like MotoGP, but I like MotoGP races. I think I might have seen the qualifying for MotoGP twice. Don't thoroughly understand it, if I'm honest.
It's not too dissimilar to the old Formula 1 qualifying.
Yeah, but they use
it's on Saturday and clashes with the football.
Yeah.
But they use the practice times, don't they?
Yeah, they use practice times. And
it's all over the place.
Then there's a super quali and yeah.
Couple of birthday shout-outs as well.
Oh, okay.
Luke, who won Formula Lee this week.
Oh, well, there's your birthday present.
There's your birthday present. He is currently in Le Mans.
Here's your birthday
Very
present.
nice.
Disallowed.
Currently in Le Mans at the museum, and he sent us a picture of the Dunlop Bridge.
Oh, very nice.
And happy birthday to regular listener and tweeter and contributor Jana. It's her birthday this weekend.
Oh,
happy birthday, Jana.
So happy birthday to you from all of us. If you want to get in touch, you can tweet us at 3 Legs 4 Wheels.
I'm at A Total Shunt.
At Flood21.
At Danbert.
And at Pablo100.
I want another Twitter drive as well. I'm at 229 followers now. I want more.
So get you up to 230.
Hashtag, no, not hashtag, at LeeDrum100. See, I don't even know.
No, at a Total
Shunt.
You don't use that account anymore.
Don't use that account anymore. At all.
At A Total Shunt.
Yes.
For Lee.
Yeah, follow Lee.
I need charged.
You're getting old. We're on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/3legs4wheels. And you can email us 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. And the usual Patreon plugging for the extra podcast, which tonight was...
middling.
There was music stuff in there, and Sharknadoes, and meteors, and nappy changing, and
all the things you'd expect when we're not talking about Formula One.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can get that by going to patreon.com/3legs4wheels and pledge as little as $1 a month. Mm-hmm. That will get you access to that.
As much as $1 million.
You can pledge as much as $1 million.
No, well, you can pledge it to 999,999. Can't you? I think on Patreon.
I no idea, but I'm not doing any more challenges for reaching milestones for a while. I like sleep too much here.
For $999,999.
Yeah, we need to see the money first before I do anything.
We'll sing you a special song.
For that amount of money, regardless of fucking Le Mans, I would live stream a lot of things.
Whether people would want to see them or not is another question.
There's always a buyer for everything.
We will be back next week, depending if Lee's survived doing things for money.
Well, and also if you did enjoy that interview with Dave Daddario last week, you can listen to that again. If you were thinking of sponsoring Dave Daddario, either get in contact direct with Dave or through us, and we'll put you in touch.
Yes. I think Dave's got another race coming up soon, so we will let you know how he gets on.
Absolutely. But you should probably sponsor him after you've subscribed to our Patreon.
Yeah. And I will also make sure, between myself and Paul, the photos that I took from the Nigel Mansell Museum go up on our Facebook page and on the website as well.
Yes, we will get that sorted during the week. We'll be back next week with a preview of the Belgian Grand Prix. We've nearly made it through the summer break.
Almost there. Nearly there.
It seems longer. I know it's actually shorter this year, isn't it?
It is, but it seems longer.
Mm. It's probably because we're doing all these really long podcasts instead of not doing any like we did
I wonder
last
if
year.
it was shaved around the edges.
We'll see you next week.
That generally makes it look longer.
We'll see you next
Bye.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye.